What's up? What's up?
Hello,
What's up?
everyone.
I'm Tevalo,
Hello. I am Pila,
and welcome to Nerdgasm.
and welcome to Nerdgasm yet again.
Or rather, welcome back for those who are
Um,
coming back and those who are watching us for the first time. Hello. I don't know how
yeah,
they.
for those who click.
Yes.
Well, click to you, sir.
Welcome to Nerdgasm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was cool. Or am I hearing things? Am I going crazy? No, that's a real thing.
What is crazy? What is normal?
I mean, with that playing now, you're freaking me out.
Yay!
Yo.
Okay, I'll behave. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Good. Give yourself again to the dark side. Cause this,
Hey.
cause yeah.
No!
Oh wait. I've got a perfect one. I've got the perfect one. Gila, ever heard of the tragedy of Darth Plagueis Starwars? All right, so I believe you're talking about the prequel series now of the Star Wars lore.
Yeah, we're still doing George, everybody.
Yeah,
Which is the
well,
good stuff, actually.
which is the
So should we rewind to 1999?
Before we go, I just want to say the prequels are what we thought George Lucas did wrong up until we saw what went actually wrong.
Yeah, like the sequels. I remember this. I mean, there's a different. It's so weird because like the sequels. Okay, when Phantom Menace first came out, obviously people still liked it, and
Yeah,
then after a while, it was like I don't know. That movie is kind of crap because it doesn't really follow a lot of movie structure, especially, and it was also very different from the other three movies. So like
true.
the other movies were like fun adventure movies where and it's quite simple. Go find the thing, blow up the thing, go home.
Yeah,
These movies are way more like not well, they're not as simple to say the least.
yeah.
There's a lot more stuff happening. Jeez, like trade federations and like
Polit- and politics
politics, yeah, and negotiations and blah blah
and
blah.
slavery and
Yeah. And then I mean, even then I think you get a lot more conversation about what the Jedi are and the dark side and the light
mm,
side. And like, yeah, you get a whole lot more. Like in the original, obviously, the Jedi are obviously missing and fallen. It's like Luke's basically the last Jedi.
mm.
Ah, would have been a good title for the Return of the Jedi. But anyways, but still, but no, I'm just saying because we already know what the Last Jedi is. But anyways, um, we
Okay,
already got that
okay,
movie.
okay.
Um,
I
yeah, but
mean,
like I guess with the prequels in general, I'd just say it was a great experiment for George because he already was like a billionaire. He already made so much money. Whether or not these movies made money or not, I don't think he actually gave a crap. I think for him, he was just trying to push visual effects and the medium of
mm,
cinema forward
yeah.
and maybe sell some toys. But I don't think that was his main aim. So I mean, for him, if he didn't do that, we wouldn't get so much of the amazing visual effects we get today. So
I mean,
as much as people bash the sequels, I mean the prequels, they gave us so much technology. It's crazy.
and it also was what I liked was the different pace in terms of just what the Jedi can do with their powers, what I and what the actual universe looked like. Because as much as we can bash on the prequels, the original trilogy was limited in the amount of
Mhm.
special effects that can show how this universe actually can be. What are the law of that universe? I mean, once the
Mhm.
if you think about the Phantom Menace, that's where you got to see an entire city, planet thing. And for us, we
Mhm.
could accept that there is the capital city of the Republic should be a gigantic planet city thing.
Yeah.
And we
I
also saw
mean,
how the Senate actually looks like. I mean, we heard of this Senate in A New Hope. We never saw the Senate. So that's one of the good things that we got to see. We also I genuinely of the I genuinely like the Phantom Menace. I don't know why people think that it's such a heresy to like it.
mm,
There is one character in the Phantom Menace I'm still have mixed feelings for, Jar Jar Binks, but
I
to say I hate him is also
I
a
am
biggest
listening to
lie.
you.
But to say I hate him
I'm
would also
listening
be
to
a
you.
lie because I was young when I first saw him. He was humorous. He was very enjoyable, and he had a very interesting character arc that developed by side effect, but still it developed.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. If you thought I was one of the Phantom Menace diehard people, I'm not. but I'm happy you are. Because I'll be like, no. But let me let you
Look,
finish. It's
I'm not
fine.
a diehard like look, I don't stand a Phantom Menace. Don't get me wrong. Like I
Yeah.
told everybody, The Return of the Jedi is my all-time number one favorite Jedi movie.
Mm-hmm.
There's everything else is a distant number two, and I mean a huge distant because even
Yeah.
in terms of the terms of the scope, in terms of what battles are happening, yes, we can talk about how beautiful this new prequel cinematic battles look like and all the special
Yeah.
effects, but the stakes were never that compelling to me compared to that last battle between the forces of good and the forces of evil in Return of the Jedi, where you can see if the rebels don't win, it's over,
Mm.
you know? And you
I
can
mean,
see
in
they
this
fell for
one,
that great trap, and they needed to be flexible enough to work in that trap to turn it around. We don't get that type of flexible lateral thinking in the prequels. It's all as much as it's
no.
amusing to look at, it's also very two-dimensional. Come at me, kids.
I mean, I know in Phantom Menace, they still, in terms of like Star Wars structure, it still has like in Return of the Jedi, where you get different action sequences happening and then all intercut and all work together. And it's like, if this person does this and it links to that, and then someone does this, it links to that.
Yeah.
Like basically Luke and like Leia, and sorry, you have Luke separately, you have Leia and Han somewhere, you have
Hmm.
um, Lando somewhere else. In Phantom Menace, I remember you did get that classic Star Wars battle where I remember the only problem was it was hard to invest in all of them because there's Jar Jar on the battlefield with the droids, and I
Being an
honestly didn't
idiot.
give a fuck about that. Sorry, I didn't give a fuck about that one. Then you get Anakin, the kid in space, which was actually not so bad as far as I remember. There was
Hmm.
a lot of I had a lot of questions. I was like, "He's just gonna send this kid to war," but I was like, "All right, whatever. Star Wars, let it go." And then I'm just saying, mass murdering child. All right, cool, whatever, let it go. And then
Because it's
and
true.
then
It's funny because
yeah,
it's true.
and then there's
Hi.
the one that everybody universally likes, which is obviously Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan versus Darth Maul,
Oh
which
yeah.
as time goes by, yeah, it's still really good. The song's really good.
Duel of the
The
Fates is
fight is really good. Yeah.
Duel of the Fates. When it comes to John Williams, can do no wrong. I know many
Mm-hmm.
people say he copied. He was very liberal in terms of how much he copied from the original Halts. This is me going on my classical music knowledge. Let me flex. Anyway, um, so he, but when it comes to the prequel trilogies, There are many songs that I know were for me quite revolting because they were boring as f. But Duel of the Fates and A Hero
Mm,
Falls, those are the two songs that for me define the prequels trilogies to the bone. Everything that's right about the trilogies
mm,
is embedded around those two songs, and that's what I like. That's all the one things that I have to highlight about John Williams. He didn't lose his touch. If anything, his music ages like
mm.
ah okay. What age is better than wine? Honey.
Yeah,
You know,
no,
honey has no
it's great.
expiration date.
Mm,
Yeah.
I think yeah, and like it really does add a lot to the pacing of the film because
Mm,
like ordinarily, if it wasn't for that music, I'm telling you, the movie would be even slower than it feels. But like, and like the dialogue sequences where people are talking and walking down hallways and blah blah blah. But I think the music does help kind of keep things
yeah.
moving and shaking. But like, obviously, the climax of that movie is still really good. Like, it's still, I mean, out of the prequels, I think it might be the best climax. But I think it's in tough competition with Revenge,
Yeah.
but that, but that, yeah, but the climax in Phantom Menace, I'm not gonna lie, it's
That
pretty good.
the drama. It's the drama, and the drama always. If you want my nerdgasm load to blow, just add drama to any scene, and I'm there. The
Yeah,
dramatic. Yeah, you're
my
saying.
only criticism is I wish I liked Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan more before that fight sequence. It's like leading up to that fight sequence, I'm not gonna lie, you don't get a lot of their character. Like they're
Yeah.
just stoic Jedi, do
Mm.
stoic Jedi things, and like
Or
you don't get like Qui-Gon Jinn is not a human being. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like as as much as he's probably really powerful and blah blah blah, he's not a person. Like I don't see him doing human things. And like it's weird because it's very jarring because in the original Star Wars, everybody's like people. They do like normal people
mm,
things, they react normally. No one's
mm,
like super stoic and no one's like super like even Yoda, who's supposed to be like a god or like the number one preacher of this religion. He's pretty human and pretty chill. And then when you get to Qui-Gon Jinn, it's like very
mm,
stoic and like, no, the Force. I'm like, yo,
the
why are you so
light.
boring, dude? What?
Which
Yeah.
always ruffled me, which other perplexed me rather when it comes to Qui-Gon's character design was that he's supposed to represent a maverick, the guy who thinks outside the box. The Jedi Order has got
Right.
its structure that says A, B, C, D, E, F, and he was the guy who wanted to question it as much as possible. To the
Mm,
point where even Obi-Wan says, you would be in the council. Were you just stupid, stubborn enough to listen?
mm.
But
But you
yeah,
don't get that.
you don't get that because
You just get, mm.
you just got a priest.
Yeah, you do.
He's
You don't get the rebel who's breaking the rules and like,
and you also
and yeah, the sad thing is like there's so much they could have gotten from that because I think they were trying to go with the same thing as like Anakin was supposed to adopt Qui-Gon's will of being
yeah
the rebel,
of being the
but
rebel.
like yeah, but then of course Qui-Gon is boring as shit. So you're like, what are you talking about? When do you do rebellious things?
Exactly.
Whack.
The only rebellious thing he wanted to do was to teach the boy that we know of.
That's it.
That we know of.
But
And
even just yeah, but even just like outside of main plot stuff, like where was the character stuff? Like where can he just be, a human being
mm,
outside of like the negotiate? Because like Qui-Gon Jinn, I'm not gonna lie, all I imagine in my head is him sitting at a table negotiating with someone, him sitting at a table negotiating with someone, and then getting stabbed. And that's like all I remember of him. And
and
it's sad
uh,
because he's
and here's another thing that comes. Well, okay, like let's just get this thing right out of the bat from the get go with all the movies. Like I mentioned in the last one, what's his name? What do I always? Why do I always dip people's names when I'm about to say something important? Have you noticed?
yeah. Wait, who you thinking of?
Lucas, George Lucas. The moment I always want to say something important, I forget the person's names. Like, what is that person's name now? Anyway, George Lucas's
mm,
weakness is relationship building. He cannot, for the
oh,
life of me, cannot write down how a relationship build up is, no matter how
mm,
much, and it's shown, and that weakness is revealed to the core
mm,
with all these prequel movies. I mean, it was sort of managed with the pacing of the original text because the things were it's a space opera invention. Now he made these super long movies, and then we've got all
mm,
these special effects, and then we've got green room. And if any actor will tell you the most hardest way style of acting is acting in a green room because you
mm,
don't know what to react to. They can give you a concept, but you won't see it until it's too late.
mm,
So with all that, you can see that relationship building and getting the nuances of how a relationship or how these characters relate to each other is way off key. I mean, for the life of me, you don't feel the loss of Obi-Wan when Qui-Gon gets stabbed. You know
oh
it's
no.
bad.
I
It's like,
mean,
oh, master,
yeah.
but for when you understand according to the Jedi law, that's basically the closest thing you had to a dad.
Mm,
And
but you don't feel that.
you don't feel it. You see glimmers of it when I mean the way Obi-Wan took on Maul after that shield opened. You can
Mm,
see that man ain't fighting with the light side of the force. That is some straight up dark side anger that's flowing through his veins, and he wants to cut the man in half over there.
yeah. Look, I think in general, which I'd give a thumbs up. It's not a hard thumbs up, but a general thumbs up
Yeah.
is to Obi-Wan in all three of the prequels. Like if there's someone that you actually kind of relate to and actually care about,
Yeah.
I think it's just Obi-Wan. Honestly, like whenever
It,
he appears on screen, it's fun to watch. It's fun to I'm invested. I'm not that invested when it's anybody else, but when it's Obi-Wan, I care. Even when he's fighting General Grievous.
and if you think about it, Obi-Wan is the because we couldn't see ourselves in Anakin.
Mm,
He he came in.
definitely.
We are supposed to, and I know I can see how it was written up so that we could see ourselves as
Mm,
Anakin. But every hardcore fan already knew what Anakin was, what Anakin's going to do, and what's going to happen in the end.
mm,
And because of that, we there's that gap we always kept giving to ourselves. That's like, oh, he's going, because no matter how much this kid is
mm.
so wonderful at this point, we all know down the line, Anakin is going to do the thing that makes us all hate him. Oh, wait.
Yeah. But like the weird thing about it is like you're supposed to relate to Anakin. Because like I'll pick like another film that does the
Mhm.
exact same thing the prequels are trying to do. Like let's say the Godfather, right? So in The Godfather, you see Michael Corleone basically descend into darkness and he chooses the family over his family.
Mm,
But the whole time you see him make these choices, you relate to those choices, understand the stakes.
mm,
And even though you know he's a human being, and you put yourself in that position. With
mm,
the Anakin slash Darth Vader one, it's so rushed. Like you don't get that contemplation. Like I just wanted a quiet scene. I mean, apart from, I remember there's one in Revenge of the Sith where he's in
mm.
the room and like Padme just leaves, and then he's like, "No, I need to save her," and then it's like,
Runs into the spaceship and
and then he's like,
goes. Yeah.
whatever.
It,
But like, I just needed those quiet moments
mm.
from
And
the
I
film. But
also, but that being said, with us creating that bias against Anakin because we know he was going to become Vader, it led us
mm,
to jump into our association with the only character we know lasts longer, and that would be Obi-Wan. That's why
Obi
everybody
Wan,
sort of jumped into the life of Obi-Wan. And as you can see,
yeah,
it's even to this day, he's like the quintessential definition of the light, even though the character design
mm,
the other character moments that you showed, yeah, this guy was kind of yeah,
it's kind of dark.
he's kind of one dimensional in some cases. I mean, he does what is right for the sake of what is being right. I mean, he's the DC character of Star Wars in the
Yeah,
prequel series. I mean, the only time. And that's why we thank God for Clone Wars and thank God for Rebels. The only time you get to see a little smidget of somebody that's human are in the Clone Wars series, where you get to see him falling.
Mm,
You learn that he fell in love. Then you can see Morg
mm,
went out of his way to kill this girl that he loved. And then even then, it didn't break him. You see, the things that would have caused Anakin to plummet to the
mm,
dark side of the force are the things that he resisted, and those are the things we learn in Clone
mm,
Wars. And I wanted to edit where and the big tragedy, and that's what you see in the big finale fight in the end, is that had Obi-Wan not held on to this stoic light side of the Force Jedi principle teaching and just being human enough to go to Anakin and say, "Kid, I know you're in love with this chick. This has happened. This is
mm.
how you overcome it." He would have prevented the tragedy that became Darth Vader. So
Yeah.
I forgot there was a documentary. I think I'll link it somewhere where it says that he was too much of a Jedi to do what's right for the sake to do what's right in terms of killing Anakin. So in essence, he's also part responsible for creating Anakin, and I think it's a little deeper than that. That he didn't. He was too much of a priest and not enough of a brother or a dad.
That's
That
actually a good point because even then, I think it opens up to a really great discussion
mm,
about the like the representation of good in Star Wars prequels because the Jedi are obviously good
yes,
and they represent that, but they ultimately fail, and it's because of their weird enough, it's because of their strict strict laws
yeah.
and their ethics. They're not willing to bend or change, and that's why they ultimately get destroyed from the inside out. And
I,
like, I wonder why George would have decided to go with that because in I'm trying to think in context with the with the original films. I mean, the light is good. Luke does his job. I mean, even though he's a Jedi, I guess it's not because he's not trying to manage the world. He's just trying to manage himself.
mm. I,
I don't know. I'm actually confused. I probably need more time, but I'm trying to think. What is George really trying to say? What would
what was the message?
responsible? Yeah, what's the
Mm.
mess? What does a responsible good look like in the world?
Don't
Because
worry.
clearly in
Don't
mm.
worry. I'm gonna email him after this because I got him on email. All right. So I'll email
Yeah,
him and then we'll get an answer. That will just come back next week and just say, you know what, from the lips of George Lucas himself.
right.
So
I'd love to know because obviously if I compare this to something like Tolkien, where um sometimes people fail, but ultimately good prevails.
yeah,
Ultimately, even through even I mean Frodo doesn't really pass the test, but good still
because
prevails.
because he decides to keep the ring at the very last moment. And
Mm,
but you also see an accumulation of, even though he failed at the right moment because that's where Gollum was, and he kept Gollum
mm,
alive at, at the time because he did pity him. So in essence, his pity in the long term, the compassionate side of humanity won out because that pity comes from the good nature of all mankind.
mm.
We feel sorry for those who suffer and we don't want to add to the suffering, so we want to alleviate. And that act of
Oh
mercy
yeah. Oh,
ultimately saved Middle Earth. People think that, oh wait, it's Sam.
mm,
Sam's the hero. Sam wanted to kill Gollum.
no.
No matter how many
Yeah, he
times you go
did.
on, you see, this is now going into Lord of the Rings. But no matter how much you cut and slices, Sam did not. Sam wanted to kill Gollum, and Frodo's
And
compassion is
that
the
would have
one thing that
mm,
it was the one thing that actually saved Middle Earth. People don't see that because
mm,
they haven't read the books, I guess. But
mm,
going back to Star Wars, my other issue that I had is like, if your argument about the rigidity of the Jedi was what caused them to fall, it wasn't that well communicated, was it? Where was the time, apart from one
mm.
scene, really one scene that I can think of? When was the time where you see that rigidity of the Jedi holding, uh, actually inhibiting
Yeah.
progress? You know, they talk. We heard about how corrupt the Senate was. Where do we see the people suffering under a corrupt system? Where's the
You don't. Yeah.
we don't. It's inferred. Because Count Dooku is
Mm,
a political idealist, not a murderer. But then suddenly he murders everybody
mm,
left, right, and center. Then Newt Gunray is still
mm,
the head of the Trade Federation. Those are the things that you inferred.
mm,
Exposition isn't really. We don't feel it. We don't feel what is actually wrong with the Republic, and we also, by that definition, we don't feel
mm,
what is wrong with this with the Jedi Order, which is I can understand because you wanted to show just how bad the bad guys were actually were. Because when you put a little bit of gray, when you
mm.
muddy up the virtues of light and darkness, it creates a lot of sympathizers, like we have with Thanos. I don't care what you say. Thanos is a mass
Yeah.
murderer. I don't know
Mm.
why people think I agree with Thanos' plan. Thanos is crazy because nobody thinks about if you have
I
all
don't.
6 Infinity Stones, you could have added more resources to sustain the
Mm.
life that you believe you need to eliminate. So no, it doesn't make sense. And and that
I
comes.
think what was. No, I was saying I think what was lacking in the prequels is probably just for that point is like I think we needed like the everyday person on the ground
Yeah,
to be like we just needed insight into that. Like while they're doing whatever they're doing, we could have just had a person on the ground and be like, "Oh, I don't like Jedi. Why don't you?" And then someone's like, "Oh, why don't you like Jedi?" And then it's like,
is
"Oh,
that
because the
right?
Jedi,
Hmm.
you Jedi make choices. You don't even care about us. You live in your high pedestals. You don't know
You
how
kidnapped.
your
You take.
inaction or you're unable to change affects me on a daily basis. Like that's maybe what the film needed because you're just living with these politicians and
Yeah,
you don't actually get to see the world from an everyday kind of point of view. So
and,
it's a gravity of it's lost.
and where on earth do you find the position to say, okay, this a child chooses to become a Jedi? It's like, wow, the Force is strong in this kid.
Mm,
And then he says, oh, I've got the Force. Let me go to Jedi Academy. It doesn't work like that. They come and take you.
mm,
And we don't get that. We also don't get that because we get a hint of that in the Phantom Menace when they say Anakin is too old. Because
mm,
and I know it's born from such a paranoia of the dark side and how much damage it had caused a millennia ago, that they actually want to have some
mm,
severe monitoring on kids with with the potential of being a Jedi. That will, but it was such a nice opportunity to show just how wrong it actually is. Count Dooku, his biggest frustration, the reason he left the Jedi Order was that his family was loaded. He could have made so many different things with his life,
mm,
but then they thought, Force, pew. And then, so his resentment for his
mm,
family was one of the things that led him down in this path. And then he sees these inactive people because he thought, okay, I could do good with my powers then perhaps. Then he sees an
mm,
inactive Jedi Council and a corrupt system. He leaves, he takes his mom's money.
mm.
He says, okay, I'm gonna hunt down this dark person. He finds him, he realizes this dark person ain't he might actually have a
As
point.
bad.
And then he joins him.
Mm,
You know, I I see the biggest tragedy, or rather the saddest tragedy, in fact, from these prequel films going forward, the biggest tragedy is that there is so much wasted potential, it's unbearable. But
yeah.
that's the life. But what, like I said, what I love about the prequels is that it brought a whole new generation of people who grew to love Star Wars and who grew smart enough
Mm,
to catch the whiff of the BS that has been created. I mean, if you ask me, the biggest haters or the biggest, or rather the most toxic fan base, or the most disappointed fan base actually came from this era, from the prequel era. If you go to the
yeah,
original,
yeah,
if you go to the
I think
original,
so.
as the ancient veterans of the Star Wars, we're like, kid, we've been disappointed before. Nothing hurts us anymore. No, really. But if you look at these late gen millennials and Gen Zs,
uh,
we shall
no,
attack that Twitter. I mean,
no, but like the thing is, when you watch the prequels, at least there's a cohesiveness. Even if it's cohesive, even if it's
Yeah,
bad to you, at least it's
it's
cohesively bad. If
cohesive.
it's
Yeah.
good, it's cohesively good. And you can
Mhm.
see there's a beginning, middle, and there's a plan there. Even though you're like, oh man, George, if only added this there. You can actually work out something to make it good,
Yeah,
or even
yeah,
potentially great.
yeah.
With the
Because
new ones, I don't
uh,
mean I don't know what you do. It's actually I don't know what you
save it for
do to
next
make
week.
them.
Save it for next
Yeah,
week. Save it for next week.
yeah.
Okay, because
But
the
yeah,
the other I think the other bad issue we have with this whole movie, the whole prequel movie, was the dialogue was appalling.
uh, uh, but that's George though. He doesn't know how to write people. Like he doesn't know how to write normal people interactions. Like if you watch the New Hope, you can see like no offense, guys, but you can see like hey, you don't know how to write people, George. You're writing weird people here, but like it just yeah, in this one it just gets worse because everyone's like politicians, and also like it would have been nice if he had
Because, like I said, it gets
established.
dragged on for too long. I think the biggest weakness is that these movies actually feel too long. And
Mm,
even when I rewatch these movies, and I have rewatched these movies, and I do rewatch these movies, and when kids want to learn about Star Wars, I will introduce them with these movies still. But then the one thing I
mm,
realize when I rewatch these movies is there's a whole section that I can skip, which I usually skip. And it's usually in the middle. There's the
yeah.
beginning cool part, and then there's this middle dry,
Oh, do you mean Attack of the Clones?
you know.
Yeah, you could just skip that movie to be honest. But
Not even,
yeah,
but
it's fine.
especially
No,
with
you
that
can skip that.
movie.
You can just skip that movie. It's fine. Just read up on Count Dooku. Actually, to be honest, Count Dooku's in
just
Revenge of
watch,
the Sith
just
anyway.
watch,
So
just watch Clone Wars, and you learn all you need about Count Dooku. Okay, okay. As I was saying,
yeah, just skip. Yeah, yeah.
that's what I was saying. That even if you look at those movies, you can skip the middle part of the whole movie altogether and just watch the beginning and end. And that's what I write. But despite
Mm,
that, there are
mm.
things. Even though you can skip the Clone Wars, it's funny enough. It's my okay. It's the least favorite of the three because at least with
It has to
the
be. It has to be your least favorite.
but it's the
The
scoring there.
Attack of the Clones is horrible. It's a horrible movie. Horrible movie. It's horrible. It actually does the most. I think it does the most
It was
legwork.
damage.
I think no, yeah, no, it does. No, I think it does the most legwork in terms of the movie because like that's when they introduce the clones, and like
Yes.
then that's
Yes.
when the war actually starts
Starts.
because there is no war. Yeah, that's when the war actually starts. So like a
Yes.
lot actually happens, but the movie is just so boring, and
I
like it just
know.
hate, and you hate all the every character dynamic. You just hate. I don't like Obi-Wan's relationship with Anakin. I don't like Anakin's relationship with Padme. I don't like the
Oh
Jedi
God.
Council. I don't like, and even then, you get the least amount of Palpatine, so the movie already sucks. So like, like where is
Yes.
Palpatine to save this movie? And
He
then,
has got like
and
2 seconds
then
of showtime.
yeah,
But
and then
yeah,
you get Count Dooku, and the movie does Count Dooku such a disservice because you don't get to really know him.
he's
He's
just a
just he's just a
token bad
yeah.
guy.
He's just a talking bad guy. He's like a weird. He's like a James Bond villain stuck in Star Wars. Like you're
Yeah.
like, what the hell's going on? Like it's just weird. And then like the lightsaber fights, which everyone always loves to talk about, is like, oh my gosh, the lightsaber fight. But I'm like, but there's nothing behind it.
Yeah.
Like there's these people are literally just met. They don't have any relationship with each other, so they're just swinging fucking lightsabers at each other. They don't
It's
have,
no, they have a very weird, twisted family relationship because Yoda trained Dooku, who trained Qui-Gon, who trained Obi-Wan, who trained Anakin. So it's basically Jedi,
mm,
one Jedi family that's messed up the entire galaxy. If you pay attention,
yeah, no, I get
and,
you. I mean,
uh,
if there's a Naruto equivalent, it's like fucking Orochimaru versus the third. I get you, but like Naruto did it better. But I'm just saying. But like I get
but
what you mean. But
can you appreciate, or rather not even appreciate, can we let's highlight the one thing that is hated, that that makes the Clone Wars movie, one of Attack of the
mm,
Clones, one of the worst things ever, is all the crappy catch memes that came out of it. Oh my god.
oh, is it does it rhyme with Rand?
But if you
Oh
think about it, all
gosh.
the cringy memes came from that movie.
Mm.
Most of them. Most of them.
No, but even the bad memes come from that movie. Like the
I,
memes from the other two are even are like
I
way
actually,
better. Like they're
I
better.
actually, you
Yeah,
can actually enjoy them. I don't like sand. Oh my
yeah.
god.
Uh,
Oh
but
my
like
god.
also it's also the beginning of the random Obi-Wan side quest things, and I hate the random Obi-Wan side quests. I'm like, just keep Obi-Wan there. Like whenever he has to go and randomly do side quests, it's always exposition. It's like, oh no, didn't you know that the clones were paid for? Oh really? By who?
Ooh.
Obi-Wan. And then I'm just like, ugh. And then he randomly does the whole Boba Fett thing or whatever
That
Fett.
okay, that Boba Fett, or that
And
Jango
then
Fett
that
Obi
was just
Wan
a waste
fight
of
was just
time.
useless.
Yeah.
But the and
It's
ironically,
just useless, waste of time.
and the space battles were lacking. Where was the space battles? Were there any space
Yeah,
battles? There was just one.
yeah,
It was Slave One versus Obi-Wan. The worst pilot. The worst pilot of them
yeah,
all. Compared
yeah. It's the worst. It's the
and the,
worst movie in the in the prequel. Like it's just the
and the,
worst. Like I, honestly,
and,
just skip.
and the one thing we get from that movie are seismic charges. That's it.
I mean, you do get, which actually was. I mean, I hate to say it, I actually enjoy it because I actually it woke me up from my slumber. You know when Anakin goes on, you know when Anakin goes on his killing spree in the desert. I was
Yes.
like, oh hey, okay, something's happening, and then his
But
mother dies, and then it ends, and I was like, ugh, what a waste of time.
it's also
And then
you understand just how cringy it is. I mean, uh,
yeah,
and and don't get me
it's
started about
random. Yeah,
don't
it's
get me
random and
started
forced.
don't get me started about the relationship build up between Padme and Anakin. It's the one thing I hate. I mean, even this, and to show just how much actually you're right. I do hate the Attack of the Clones,
Mm,
because even the music from Attack of the Clones is the worst part
it's
of the
the
thing.
worst.
Yes, the
Ugh,
music was off. The
ugh.
look, okay, there's one thing I liked. There is one thing I liked. There you go. At least I found one thing
Okay,
I liked.
okay.
And that was that battle between the clones and the droids. That field battle was enormous. You could see all the different
Oh,
angles, the aerial strafes when the Republic cruisers were busy knocking down all the missile tanks of the
mm,
separatists. You could see, and they were landing tanks, and it was a battle. It was a big, massive battle, and you can see, and that's where you also see the war criminal Yoda come into effect, because he was
yes.
like, he was issuing them orders.
No, no,
Target,
that's why
concentrate
that
all
movie is
fire on the
horrible.
nearest spaceship. Like, you're not
No,
leaving
but does
alive.
that but then doesn't that annoy you? Because that's for me, that's the worst part of the movie. Is like when they involve Yoda into being like a
And,
murderer. Because I'm like, dude, aren't you supposed to be like the religious guy on the side who tells people what's right and what's
and
wrong? But in
he,
this movie, it's just like kill them, kill
he was
them.
around the survivors, the perimeter creates
Yeah. Oh
to the
gosh.
forward command center. Take me. He was busy. He was the guy in charge. You when you're all expecting Mace Windu to be like the big general in charge and stuff like that.
Yes,
No,
yes,
no,
yes.
no,
There
no,
you
no, no, no,
go. There you go.
no. The Grand Master of the Jedi am I. Leave, leave them
Who's
to
training
battle.
the
I
younglings?
will. The
Who
younglings.
is training the younglings?
The
You should
younglings.
go back.
The younglings are watching this on screen. Kids, this is how we do war.
See, that's what honestly that's where I feel like George lost the plot. I feel like he lost what the Jedi. You see, that's why I'm so muddled up with what's good and what's bad because it doesn't make sense anymore. Like you have, yeah, like it doesn't make sense.
And
But
of course,
whatever.
the things that you see, there are things that always make me question, even like the one thing. It's followed by the one thing that irritates me the most about that movie in particular, but about Yoda in that movie.
Mm.
You are beating Count Dooku. You know if he dies, the war is over. And Count Dooku decides to
Yeah.
drop. Count Dooku decides to drop this gigantic tower to squish Obi-Wan
Let them
and
let them
and
die.
and Anakin. Look, I can understand he kept them alive, but I was thinking, which one is easier? Let force holding this gigantic 300-ton pillar, or just moving those two unconscious Jedi
Mm.
away. I would have just force pushed them like, oh, it's
Oh
for
yeah.
whoops. Then they're
No,
safe. He still can't get away.
I
And
honestly
even
think he
when
should
he
have
did,
let them die.
even when he did stop the thing, he had enough time to. He let the spaceship fly away. I'm sorry. I've seen enough Jedi to know that they could actually stop the spaceship from going anywhere. At least long enough for the clones to be able to take aim and shoot it down. Anyway,
I don't like two things. Number one is
yeah.
Yoda should let them die because I feel like in all of his years of being alive and being a general of a fucking army, he should know that sacrifices need to be made in order for the bigger picture. I'm just saying. And then the second thing is I don't like how they nerfed Yoda because every
Yeah.
time you see him in the prequels, all he does is lose. All he does is lose. Every single time he fights someone, he loses. Every time he fights someone, he loses. And I was like, isn't this supposed to be the most powerful fucking guy in the universe? But every time you bring him out, all he
And that,
does is fucking lose.
and that's one of my biggest gripes with Yoda. You're right, they did nerf him. Where was his awesomeness? There was a time, I mean, we got to feel how powerful the dark side is, even with Count Dooku. You know what I mean? I would have gotten away with Count
But
Dooku
also,
being smacked to the point where he in fact should have been smacked so thoroughly he became a cyborg. Then I would understand. Wow, Yoda literally lit him up, and that's when you can see cyborg
yeah.
Dooku leading the separatists with his angry, taking that angry L that he took from Luke to make him even more powerful in the dark side,
Mm. But Yoda just
etc.,
takes
etc.
big L's, man. Just hard L's. All over those prequels. Just hard.
Which
Because
is
he'll be like, no, we can't let this kid in. And then Qui-Gon's like, no, let him in. Yoda's like, oh, okay, well, Qui-Gon said it. And then you get to the second movie. Oh, I'm the most powerful Jedi. And then, oh, Count Dooku, I'm having a hard time with him. Oh, my God. And then you get to the third one. It's like, oh my gosh, why are you losing, dude? You're the most powerful Jedi. But like, and then he's just like, okay, I'm retreating now. Run away. And I was like,
bye.
it
No,
just annoyed me. And also what you said about just swapping Yoda's and Mace Windu's roles in the movies would have fixed that entire problem. If Yoda just chilled at the fucking temple and preached his Jedi bullshit, then I would have bought that. And then you had Mace Windu out here on the streets, fucking slicing everybody and fighting everybody. I would have been like, okay, cool. Clear distinction of roles here.
yeah,
He's the crazy murdering Jedi, and,
he's
and he's the
he's the
Jedi
Pope.
who preaches the truth. Cool,
Yes,
I get that now.
Yoda would
But
be
now
like
it's just messy.
Jedi Pope and
Mm.
Mace Windu with the Knights Templar. So
Because like by the time you get to Revenge of the Sith, and now Mace Windu's finally, oh, I'm taking control now. I'm like, where the fuck have you been for 3 movies?
you know,
I'm like, yeah. I'm like, where the fuck have you been? But at least he
and
tried, finally.
which gets us to wait. Is there anything I want you to say about this terrible movie?
Well, Attack of the Clones.
I'm trying to think. because once I leave this
No,
chapter,
shit.
oh, of course, that's why we also see Jar Jar Binks' character arc come to its conclusion.
uh, but are we talking about the general, his political role? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh. In the end, that's so dumb, but so dumb to me. But like, whatever. I don't
which
know how they choose politicians on his planet.
in
That's
Naboo,
dumb.
that's what gets what that's a question I must ask for ages for because Amidala, for all she appeared to be intelligent, why would you choose Jar Jar Binks out of all creatures in the entire galaxy to hold? Because if you don't understand, at that point she was the head of the opposition party, was opposing the creation of the military forces act. So why would you put such a, how do I put this in a polite way, intellectually compromised
Yeah.
individual in
Mm.
such a position of unimaginable power, in essence,
Dumb, dumb,
to
dumb, dumb, dumb,
yeah,
dumb,
it's
dumb, dumb.
that's number one. Number two, what on earth was he even in the Senate in the first place? He was a bombard general because, of course, an idiot king made him one. That makes sense.
Mm.
Because the
That
king
makes sense.
the king technically is just as dumb as Jar Jar, but people don't talk about that much, do they? But the the Senate, well, last I checked, it's an elected position.
I don't know. This movie sucks. More
Vote.
Palpatine.
Uh, uh, uh,
That's
that's the only, but but
that's my only.
here's the
Sucks.
thing. Palpatine was in the movie, but as the disguised chancellor, we didn't get to see enough of the. I mean, even in the
No, no.
even in the Phantom
You know
Menace,
I'm right.
even in the Phantom Menace, you get to see a bit of OG's Darth Sidious.
Yeah,
I mean, really,
you do.
the span of yours is finished. We dare not go against the
You
Jedi.
do.
Oh, my
Yeah, and
friend.
then you even get to no, but he even straight up does Darth Sidious because he's even in the intercom and he's talking to Darth Maul like a
Yes,
few
yeah,
times in the movie. So you're like, oh hey, cool, I get you. Yeah, finally we
sure.
get Darth Sidious.
Of
Attack
course,
of the
and you
Clones
also,
movie's boring as shit.
also we also get the iconic lines. I mean, one of the iconic lines from Palpatine is in the Phantom Menace. And really, my lord, is it legal? I will make it legal. You're just like,
You
wow,
see?
how powerful is this man?
Oh, man, I
Uh,
love Palpatine. Yo, that's why. And even then, like, also, I don't like the way. This is when the movie started looking. Actually, this is when the movie looks the worst. Because,
yes.
like, in Attack of the Clones, that's when you start getting like the soap opera-ness of it, like turned up to
Mm.
another fucking level. It's like you just get people talking, and then it's like one shot, and then cut to two
Yeah.
people talking, one shot. And like I feel like that's when George kind of like took the soap opera thing a little bit too seriously. I was like,
I'm
I get it's a
telling
space
you.
opera, but it doesn't have to look like Days of Our Lives.
No, no, no. No, it's not Days of Our Lives. Days of Our Lives has got one the issue of pan angling. Just look at this angle and then look at that angle. What
Right?
happened with
Right?
what happened with Attack of the Clones is that man was sitting there in his huge luxury whatever, and the cleaning lady who clearly is from Mexico came, and then whenever she was cleaning, she put on all the telenovelas that she could find, and suddenly
Yeah.
George Lucas was watching all the Mexican telenovelas, and
He was
suddenly
like, ooh.
this these telenovelas are amazing. Because even if you look at the names, even if you look at the names of the characters in the second movie, there is Cypher
Mm.
Diaz. Cypher Diaz, if
Yes,
you trans
yes.
if you translate it in Spanish, means something very, very colorful. Kids, go look it up. As well as Count
Oh,
Dooku. You don't know
you're
what it
actually
means.
right.
You don't know what it
You
means.
went. I have no idea what it means. I'll Google it later.
Oh, no, don't try. I'll tell the kids. I'll just. Oh, no, wait. Do I know how to censor these things? I don't know how to censor these things. I'll tell you after the call. Look it up, kids.
Yeah.
so, so you can see there's a lot
Yeah.
of telenovela influence in our dear friend Attack of the Clones. Now that we're done, okay, we can now leave it. Now we can leave it and bury it. We can leave it and bury it in the side. Let's go into the best movie of the three of them.
Oh yeah, let's do this, baby. Let's do it. They're actually my favorite one.
It is. It is.
No,
It
no.
is. It is. You know, because I've watched I've watched as many of the documentaries about this movie as possible, and nobody seems to have pointed out the one thing I noticed immediately when I first watched it back in 2003. Do you know what was that?
What's that?
That movie is perfectly designed in terms of begin climax, climax, middle part, and opening, succinctly in
Mm.
but in reverse from end to beginning. It starts off with a
Really?
it starts off with a
With that, it starts off
monumental
with the
battle,
climax.
yes, and then
It does.
it works all the way down to this.
You're actually so right. Why didn't they just swap the settings?
So, and
You're actually so right.
for me, I thought it was a deliberate act because if you look at it, like if you were to take it in reverse with Return of the Jedi, Return of the Jedi it starts with the Death Star opening climatic battle and then boom, huge battle, and then you just see because Revenge of the Sith is ultimately the anti Return of the Jedi. It's
yeah,
also
yeah.
designed that way, where it starts with this big boom, and then it works all the way down to okay, you're now in a
Mm.
stalemate. So that's what I saw, and I don't know how many people actually noticed that. Please let me know if there are any documentaries that talk about it in the comments below because that's the first thing I noticed, and nobody talks about that, honestly.
Yeah.
That
That's actually
that
I didn't.
that being said, my biggest irritant and we'll talk about Disney.
Ah, hey,
My,
going straight into irritants. At least say the things you like,
no, 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 no.
man.
Let me tell you what irritates me first, because it's actually a compliment on this movie, right?
Okay.
What irritates me the most about the Disney stuff is that there's not been a battle to at least match the grandeur and scope of the opening battle over Coruscant in Revenge of the
Oh,
Sith. That battle
let me
was to
think.
show that
Yeah.
if you think about it, that battle shows everything that was done right about the prequel series. They can now
Mm,
show you can actually scale different size fighters compared to the Star Destroyers. You can see ships shooting each other to oblivion.
yeah,
You
you
can
actually
see
can,
from
man.
you can see squadrons attacking each other in formation. You can see all these things. And when I saw it, I swear to God, I think it was my first negative orgasm I've had ever when watching Star Wars. Because after
Mm,
the other ones, the orgasms I've had from the few because I was still too young to know what orgasm was. There I felt them chills in the cinema with everybody else. That was the first time I've experienced it. I
mm,
never experienced the Return of the Jedi on the big screen. I was not born at that time.
mm,
But the first time I could relate with everybody having chills with me was when I was watching this
mm,
titanic battle, ships shooting each other to oblivion. I mean, there are
mm.
parts where ships crash into other ships and big explosions, and yeah, and even then you can still follow what's going on with Luke, with not Luke, with Obi-Wan, and with
Mm,
Anakin at the time. I mean, he got hit by the bus droids. He's busy
mm.
trying to get rid of the bus droids. But if you just pause frame by frame, there's something happening all the time around this entire battle. Why didn't you just take that? Why didn't you just use that for the damn trilogies? I would have forgiven you.
I
I know.
know.
Okay, I'm
I
calm.
I think it's so like I mean everybody knows like Revenge is such probably the best prequel. Like university objectively like because like even then like the pacing gets much better because like even
True.
now we open the film on like an action sequence.
I
We
mean, the war
actually
drums,
get to reveal character. Yeah, it's actually
even
and
the
also you
music,
are right. Like
even the music. I mean, you
yeah.
know those war drums. I literally one of my.
Mm,
I've actually got those songs in that song on my phone. It's one of those things I keep pace with when I'm trying to walk, when I'm trying to do something on some like doom, 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 doom,
mm.
doom, doom. The music was right.
And you are right though.
Mm.
It is probably the biggest battle in Star Wars on screen. Because I was thinking of like after that there's obviously the Disney movies, but I don't think anything's ever as big. Like even the
Nothing.
last one in Rise of Skywalker, I still don't know
It's
why that
not
movie is called
even
that, but anyways, it's
that.
like,
That's not a battle.
but
It's a parade push.
yeah, the one with well, sure we'll get to that. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah.
Next week, kids.
Yeah, yeah, I'll get to that. But yeah, this is definitely the biggest fight. Like we actually feel like this is Star Wars.
Yeah, this is
Like
Star
I'm
Wars, and
in.
it was flexing its grandeur at that point. They say, "I've got billions and billions of dollars in my bank account. I can show you how a real battle is supposed to look like." And
Yeah.
oh,
Also, I really like the dynamic between. Okay, I wouldn't say I really liked it, but it was much better than I've seen
yeah,
before. Yeah, I think it was a definite improvement on the dynamics of the characters, like Obi-Wan and Anakin's relationship, especially when they're trying to get to Count Dooku and rescue Palpatine.
yeah.
Best I've seen them. Banter's great, the relationship's great. You can see they actually have a connection. The other ones,
Mhm.
it looked like they didn't really like each other, but they were just whatever. But in this
But
one, you
they're
actually
supposed to
look
be
like they're
siblings.
friends.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the animated Clone Wars and then watch this, you actually feel so much more of it. So like, I enjoyed that. I think they haven't looked so much better. I mean, even Anakin. Like I know people always like to hate on him, but I thought he was fine.
In this
Like
movie, he
if
was
the actors,
at this point, Anakin was at his most mature. And if you think about it,
mm,
what okay, which lines are cringe worthy? Okay, there will always be cringe worthy lines in all these three movies. But
yeah, there was.
what's the most cringe worthy line that you could find in this one? I can't really think of one because it's let's see what cringe worthy line does Anakin
Yeah.
use in this one?
Also, I don't think people should
It's
take these movies that seriously. Like I know that like the other ones are like bad, 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 but like this one, like just relax. Like you've been through the worst. This is where all the payoff is. Just
yeah,
have a good time.
yeah.
Just have a good time. Uh,
Everybody else has cringe worthy lines. Oh yeah, buffering again. Buffering this guy. Yep, there goes the buff.
I mean, there's okay. The cringe-worthy lines probably means. And Obi-Wan told me you were killing younglings.
It's Padme. It's
Fucking great,
high
man.
ground. But that's Obi Wan
Oh
high
no,
ground.
no, 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 no! How dare you, sir? How dare you? That is a classic line. Classic.
Ah,
How dare you?
I have the
Say,
high ground. You are saying something about the high ground and why it's such an important line.
oh yeah, man. I say, dude, like in 100 years from now, when you're dead and gone, people will still be saying that line. So how dare you? How dare you? I have the high ground, Anakin.
It's over, Anakin.
No, but
I have the high ground. It's like,
no, but like, okay, why is it cringeworthy? Is it because it's too expositional? Is it because it just doesn't make sense that someone would actually say that?
you know what? I love the fact that you're actually
It's just
answering your own
perfect.
question. You're answering your own question. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. I don't need to say anything.
But it's just a beautiful movie. And the thing is, you know what's so crazy is I can rewatch that movie. I could rewatch Revenge of the Sith now and before I pick any other Star Wars movie. And I'm not even being an asshole. Before I play Empire, I would watch Revenge of the Sith. And you know what? I would have a good freaking time. I'd have
Yeah.
a great time.
I, look, I'm inclined to agree because like I told you, my most favorite movie of them all is Return of the Jedi, and my second most favorite movie is Revenge of the Sith. In fact,
Mm,
if I watch Revenge of the Sith, I want to watch Return of the Jedi immediately
yeah,
afterwards because of all,
yeah,
not only because of how much I've enjoyed the bad things that happened, is the things I also enjoyed. I mean, really, I I got to hate Darth Vader all over again, and that's what they got right. I know the whole scene of him slaughtering younglings is.
Master
Oh,
Skywalker, what
God.
are we gonna
It's like, okay, oh,
do?
oh, hell no.
No, but also shout
But
out to George Lucas because like that's when because he actually got creative again. Like you can tell he actually was starting to have fun.
he
Like
was
the
having
shots were actually like alive again.
dynamic,
Like things
yeah.
were actually happening. Yeah.
Apart from the usual walk down the aisle, blah, blah, blah. But if you think about, and
Mm.
also, once again, the one thing you've got to love about that movie is we finally get to see Palpatine flex like crazy. And
Hey,
if there's
the
one
MVP.
character that carried the whole Star Wars universe, is that evil man being an evil man. I mean, how many lines can you quote from that movie from Palpatine?
Oh man, I love
I
Palpatine.
think I think the
Oh wait, from the you know what kills me is he steals every scene, even from the first one he's in.
yes, but I mean, I think the one issue is
uh,
that Anakin doesn't have a cringy line in the Revenge of the Sith. Everyone
no,
else
he
does.
does.
Which what
No, but
cringy
he
line?
does though.
What
A
line?
lot of people don't like. A lot of people don't like it when he does the whole no. People don't. People hate that. I mean, personally,
That
it's not that bad for me.
for me,
I think it's
okay.
because
For me, that's not Anakin. That's Darth Vader. So it's like okay. So
yeah,
Darth Vader has a cringy line in that movie.
yeah.
But
Okay, cool.
if you look at all the other parts of that movie, everyone
Actually, no,
else
he
is
does. Screw you. From
what?
my perspective, the Jedi are evil. You know, yes, he does. Yes, he does. That line doesn't make any fucking sense.
Did you say
I will restore peace to my
my
new
new
empire.
empire? Your new empire. I, I swear to God, at that moment, they're supposed to write, "Don't do drugs, kids."
Yeah, don't try kids. Oh man, I really want to watch Revenge of the Sith now. But like, yeah, it's
Okay,
just actually, I'm just so happy we're talking about it. Please, when everyone's done, please go watch Revenge of the Sith.
go
That
watch it.
movie just
It's
is
it's
fucking
it's
amazing.
worth watching. In fact, watch the Phantom Menace. Don't watch Clone Attack of the Clones. Go watch
Yeah,
that clone.
don't watch
Go
it.
watch the Clone Wars series. In fact, go watch the Clone Wars series. Start
Mm.
as animated by Genndy Tartakovsky. You know the guy who made Kill Bill.
Yeah,
Watch that one first. Then watch the
don't
Clone
watch
Wars
that.
where you see Ahsoka and all the other people. Watch that, and then watch,
Mm.
and then watch what you call him, Revenge of the Sith. Because
Revenge.
then like I said last week, people would actually start crying when Obi-Wan realizes that he has no choice but to fight this man, because the amount of love they had for each other growing up, and you can see the tragedy is Obi-Wan. You know this woman, this guy has a heart for this woman. Just help him. Don't go like, oh wait, you're in love, leave the Jedi Order. He's not gonna. That was gonna be the worst decision ever.
But okay, wait. But from Obi-Wan's perspective, by the time he got to speak to Anakin, Anakin was kind of way gone. I mean, he already killed younglings. He
No.
already killed half of the council.
I'm talking about the Clone Wars because there's a part in the Clone Wars,
Oh,
especially in the new series where you get where you can actually see that Obi-Wan knows. He actually does know.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, my
So
bad. I was just talking in the films, but
I
yeah,
mean, it's a very endearing scene because even Rex was trying to cover for Anakin,
for
which goes to
Anakin.
see how much the clones related to Anakin over the Jedi, and
Mm,
that's why
yeah.
it also made a lot more sense for when issue order 66 was
Mm,
implemented. They were like, okay, let's kill these guys, but when they wouldn't. I don't think they'd have a problem with him doing the same thing to Anakin because Anakin was walking with them to the temple. If it was such a lobotomized
mm.
kill the Jedi order, if they issued Order 66, they would have been attacking Anakin too. But in their minds, Anakin wasn't really a Jedi to them, wasn't the Jedi in terms of the
Yeah,
quintessential thing. And my
he wasn't
what
the chosen one.
yeah, what sold it for me was I think they could see a little bit more humanness in Anakin more so than
Mm,
the other Jedi, because the Jedi's were using them as well war criminal tools. So yeah,
mm.
it's one of those things. I watch that sequence, and then of course, let me know. I'm not done, because I still need to get to my favorite character, Palpatine.
Hey,
We cannot talk
wait,
enough about.
there's actually a lot of characters in this movie because if you think about it, there's Count Dooku, there's General
Yes,
Grievous,
yes.
there's Mace Windu,
Hmm.
there's Obi-Wan, there's Padme, there's obviously Anakin, there's
Hmm.
Palpatine, there's obviously the robots, there's
The supporting robots.
I guess yeah.
Mm.
I mean, oh yeah, I think we also get our first Chewbacca
No, don't get Chewbacca in this.
cameo. I mean, we have, I think we
Oh
do.
yeah,
Don't
we
we get
got,
a
we do,
yeah,
we do, we do.
yeah.
After
We get Yoda in this.
and
Like it's actually weird. It's kind of like Endgame before Endgame. You kind of get like everybody in the movie. It's
yeah,
kind of crazy.
and
I mean, you get a
basically,
Luke and Leia as well.
mm, and you can see now, you can see the Jedi at their best, followed by the cataclysmic fall. Because
Mm-hmm.
none of the Jedi saw it coming. None of the Jedi's, except the few that,
Uh,
if you look at Clone Wars, there are a few who kind of put two and two together, but then they were killed and some were, I don't know,
mm,
captured. Anyway, so you get to see this huge order collapse right in front of you, and you get to see this old magical wizard have the time of his life doing it.
mm-hmm. Just slice and dice, baby, slice and
Yeah,
dice. The
and
count, Palpatine's count, like kill count, is wild in this movie. It's wild.
one hit
It's
KOs.
what it's like on Thanos level.
But
Like he's just killing.
and that's the one thing about Palpatine. What if you pay attention? If Palpatine does not kill you immediately, he won't kill you
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that
because
is true.
he needed help
I think
Mace.
I really like. Sorry, this is before I get back to Palpatine because I know we're gonna talk about Palpatine like every 5 minutes. But like, I just want to mention, I really like Obi-Wan in this movie. I think out of the three movies, this is probably the best you get out of Obi-Wan.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I think he's the most interesting, he's the most action-packed.
and
He looks cool. I like his beard update. I'm like, what up, Obi-Wan? You look like Obi-Wan now.
yeah,
um, I just really like Obi-Wan in this movie. And like obviously when he fights Anakin, I feel for him. Like when he does that whole speech, you really like as ridiculous as the words are, he really sells them. You're
yeah.
my brother, Anakin.
I
I
loved
loved
you.
you. Yeah, it's really good. And also even the when he walks down the ship, also very dramatic timing when he
like
yeah,
like
you turned Padme against me.
you
You
have done
have
that
done
don't
that
yourself.
yourself. It's great. It's
But
great stuff.
um, and that's why you see, like I said, that's why people could see themselves in Obi-Wan more than in Anakin or any other character. Actually, it's because you see the conclusion of his character development into this basically broken
Mm,
man. I mean, yeah, the get people. The biggest criticism is how nonchalantly he took the news that his entire Jedi Order was slaughtered by his best friend. But
mm,
then you actually see that it's it's his Jedi upbringing that actually taught him to keep those feelings at bay, up until that moment where he boiled over after cutting down Anakin. That's what you can see. That's when you see him at his most human. That's even the cringiest lines ever. You were the chosen one. But
mm. He literally says it.
he
It's like
literally,
ridiculous that he actually says it. Like, but it's
which
funny. Like
which
I'm
brings
trying to think of like
Which
I'm
brings me
trying to
to
think
the
of like
question:
any other. Wait, sure, go ahead.
Did Anakin know that he was the chosen one?
I don't know.
I mean, it's inferred, and he thinks himself as this powerful Jedi who can even wants to stop people from dying. But I don't think anyone sat down and said, "Kid, you are the chosen one. You're gonna bring balance to the Force. It is your destiny." There's no one who's. I don't think there's any moment where people get
No.
the click. It's as if it's between us and the Jedi.
Wait,
It's like the Jedi
did
telling us that
Qui-Gon
he,
give him the speech? Did
no,
Qui-Gon give him the speech in Phantom? He just told him about midichlorians, but I think
yeah,
that was it. No?
that's it. I think all the training he gave, only the training he gave,
Mm,
Anakin was that and stay in the ship. That's about it.
yeah, that's about it. I guess it's the equivalent of Dumbledore going like, "Harry, you're
Yeah.
the chosen one."
Did
It's actually
what?
quite funny. But
I mean, you know, on that note, Harry Potter found out that he is the chosen one. It's like, yay, you're going to kill.
yeah, he
It's
did.
between you and Voldemort. But that
Mm.
does Anakin, which brings to light that, yeah, as much as people say that Anakin is the chosen one, the truth is it isn't. It's Luke.
I mean, it's weird because some look. I don't honestly. I don't think there is a chosen one anymore, and they
Or at
never
all.
could be because
Oh,
because it kind of eats itself up, and then
yeah,
the Disney sequels kind of makes
that's
that completely irrelevant.
true. True.
So, but if but Darth Vader is the one who ultimately kills Darth Sidious, but then obviously it wouldn't have happened without Luke. So to be honest, it is what it is. Everybody can argue. Nobody can really. George is the only one that knows, honestly
Fair
speaking.
enough. Fair enough. And it's another email I'll send. I'll send to him.
Yeah.
No, but
Hey,
I got,
George,
yeah,
who's the chosen one?
kids. I got connections. Don't worry. Don't mind me sitting here. I got connections with all these people.
Honestly, I think it should be Luke because you can't be the chosen one if you fix your own mess, right? It's kind of like if you're the villain of the story and then you kill
Yeah,
yourself, you can't exactly be the chosen one now, can you?
and I think that's one of the biggest quintessential thing about that being the chosen one. The chosen one is chosen to fix a problem that's not his own. It's one of the biggest,
Mm,
it's the defining attributes. The other example of this chosen one trope that comes into mind would be, of course, the Matrix. And if you think about it,
yeah,
Nero has absolutely nothing to do with the stakes of
mm,
Zion. He's not from Zion.
absolutely nothing.
It's not his problem, to be honest. He's just a cog in the machine. But then he's like, here's your destiny, kid. You're supposed to save us all.
Mm,
And then he chooses to rise up to the equation or not. But
yeah, or even like that, or even the Avatar. The Avatar, you have no fucking choice, bro. You are the Avatar.
I don't.
You were
But
born this, become the Avatar.
yeah, you become the avatar, true. But he chose to run, and it had worldwide consequences.
Mm,
Which
like
brings it to the
dire
question.
consequences.
Which brings it to that question with the fact that, because it means the Fire Nation attacked when he was 11, which is the dumbest thing ever, if you think about it.
Mm,
Because if the Fire Nation, okay, sorry, going into Avatar now. We'll discuss this one day in the future. If the Fire Nation was
mm.
really serious about keeping the Avatar from reincarnating, wouldn't they have just attacked at the moment they found out about Zuko's, no, not Fire Avatar? What's his name?
Oh, about
Roku.
Aang's whereabouts.
Yeah, they wouldn't have when Avatar Roku died. Wouldn't they have immediately launched the attack then? He's still a
I know
baby.
but the Fire Lord was there when Roku died. I remember
Yes,
because Roku technically saved his life.
yes.
So I think maybe look, I'm not trying to make up any excuse, but I think they weren't ready for war yet, so they probably had to prepare. I mean, technically, all the nations were equal; they were on equal footing. So I
Okay,
think they had to actually had to prepare to take the other nations by surprise.
that is
So I don't think
that's
the
fair.
Fire Nation was already as military advanced.
That is fair. That
But
is
that's just
fair.
me playing devil's advocate, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
anyways, back to the wars in the stars.
Yes, the important one, the
uh,
original one.
hey, the original one, man.
I mean, what's your
I
favorite
think.
line from Palpatine in the Revenge of the Sith?
Oh man, it's hard. I think it's unlimited power. I just love it
I
because it's
thought
just
so. I thought so.
unnecessary.
I thought so.
Yeah.
I was waiting for that
No,
one. It
no, but
has
if you
to
think
be
about it, how
unlimited
because I'm like
power.
limited power. No, because like it's just who writes that? And like secondly, it serves no purpose. You just Mace Windu is already outside of the window. Like he's already like stabbed to death
He
and
has already
out.
been
He's not he
zapped
can't
to
hear
death.
he can't hear shit. Yeah. So you're just basically monologuing to yourself. And I was like,
Yes.
this is fucking great. This is great.
And,
Unlimited power. Like
ah!
that's
and,
my
then,
favorite. That's my favorite line in the whole movie.
and that's
I
what
love it every time.
that's what gets me going about the Palpatine. Palpatine is doing this thing for himself. You don't get this thing
Mm.
of long ago we were persecuted
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
hunted. No,
you
nothing. Yeah, I mean, you could have just.
nothing.
I mean, for 1,000 years, the Sith were existing in secret. They could have just lived in that dark fantasy corner of the planet, Exegol, wherever, doing their whole crazy evil shenanigans back there and minded his own business. No, Palpatine was like, you know what? This galaxy is mine now. Move.
No, you're right. What's your favorite Palpatine line?
I was thinking because I was like, it should have been unlimited power.
Unlimited power. Great, great every time.
Yeah, there's.
Chef's kiss, man.
I mean, there's so many lines. I think one of my
No, or even like, no,
no,
no, you will
no.
die.
Let me think. Let me think. Let me think.
How fucking crazy is this guy?
But
You will
okay.
be known henceforth as Darth Vader.
No, no. It's like an afterthought. You'll be first known as
Oh,
Darth Vader. It's like an idea that came to
yeah.
his head. There was no long. Let me get you. Let me pull out my big list of
Mm.
information to say nothing. Just Vader. There you go. There, you're Darth Vader. Uh,
Oh man.
I think what? Oh yeah, I think one of my favorite lines. Yeah, I've got it. My favorite line. I've waited a long time for this, my little green friend.
Oh yeah.
At
That's a
last, the
good one.
Jedi are no more. Because it followed by the biggest ass whipping that
Mm.
he's seen in his life. I
Mm.
mean, nobody, people were straight up applauding when Yoda yeeted Palpatine across the room with the force, like, yes,
Yeah.
shut him up.
I think it's because he's the big bad. Like as much as Anakin is trying to be the big bad, it's
Yeah,
so clear. Like
he is.
Palpatine is the big bad of these movies.
And even when Yoda told Obi-Wan that you're not strong enough to go up against the Dark Lord of the Sith, I knew for a fact that you yourself, Yoda, might just be strong enough, but to stop him, I don't think so.
Mm.
And
Oh,
as much as I like and as much as I love Yoda, trust me, Yoda is my favorite Jedi. People are pounding over what's his name, Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan is my favorite character because he's a paragon of the light. He's not the most powerful.
mm.
He's not the most influential. He just embodies the light side of the force so perfectly.
Mm.
But when it comes to
Mm.
my favorite Jedi of them all, it has to be that little green energizer bunny from hell. And you know it,
Mm.
but that in that movie, you see him at his most overpowered. I mean, Did you see what he did to those clones
Yeah,
when he
no,
was
it's amazing.
when he was going into
I
the Jedi Temple? Yeah, I mean, he was straight up murdering them. Obi-Wan was like
mean,
standing there, like, should I help? You
no,
could
but
just
even then, I think. Tell me if I'm wrong, but doesn't Yoda kind of see flashes of the future in that movie? Because I remember the time where he's like, "Oh, I'm sensing things. Things will happen," and
yeah.
I was like, "Oh shit."
And I think the reason why it's this is in the books, it's not in the movie. That's why I don't really count it as canon. But the reason why he left the fight between Palpatine was that he saw a glimpse of Luke.
Um,
And he knew that
yeah.
if he goes all out and we destroy each other, and that was where it was going towards. It wasn't going towards one
Mm,
Luke killing Palpatine or Palpatine killing Luke. They were both going to kill each other. Then there is no
mm,
one who's going to train Luke because because Obi-Wan, for all intents and
yeah.
purposes, most likely will die. And if he and Palpatine are
Mm,
dead, and and we don't know what happens with Anakin, then what's going to happen to the Jedi Order? So
yeah, that's
that's
true.
the reason he falls back, but it's not communicated in the movie, so I can't really count it as canon. For me, that fight, no matter how many guys argue that Palpatine won, he did not win that fight. It was a stalemate. They fought to a draw. It's just
Yeah,
that one decided to leave. It's like, okay, peace. And
yeah.
but still, people are talking about the fighting choreography between Obi-Wan and Anakin in that fight.
Mm,
My favorite battle is always between Yoda and Palpatine. You see those two titans of the Force go at it
mm,
in such a blurry of moves, and you can see that wow, Yoda is actually quite strong. You get a glimpse of
mm,
it in Attack of the Clones. We don't talk about that, but there, you mean
mm,
first Palpatine was panicked enough to want to run.
mm,
Then you can see that he's actually overpowering him with his own miniature lightsaber. Like there's a part where you can see Anakin to the Sidious straining. Oh, like yes, you see, Sidious had to change tactics because he lost his lightsaber, which is not communicated once again. Book, book,
yeah.
book, for me, book canon, I guess. But you can see even when he was throwing
No
down,
more with you.
even though I was literally throwing the Senate at him himself. Ah, that
Mm.
is my favorite line. I got it. My favorite line.
Wait, which
I
one?
my favorite Palpatine line. I
Oh,
am the
I.
Senate.
You
Is the line. That is the
know what's
line.
weird?
Yes.
Why can't George? Does George only write well for fucking Palpatine? Like, does he just love writing for Palpatine? Because it's like for everybody else is like you can tell he's bored or he
Yeah,
doesn't
no,
care.
no,
But
but
like for
this one,
Palpatine, is like, ooh,
with this one, I
this,
think, and I think it's also because of the actor, because the guy who's acting Palpatine, I mean,
yeah.
really, he's so dynamic. You can see he's having the time of his life.
Mm.
I mean, really,
Because even in the part, because even in the scene, in the scene where Palpatine is telling Anakin about the power of the dark side and how he
Darth
can resurrect
Plagueis the
people and
Wise.
yeah. And I'm like, okay, of course it's dumb because Anakin, yes, of course he's the Darth Lord. He's the Darth Lord we're looking for. I can go and report to someone.
You know,
But
say
so
something.
casually. But I don't know. For some reason, it's never like it's dumb, but it's not too dumb. Like I can always watch the scene and I'm like, you know what? I can buy this.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
can buy what's happening
You
here.
can sort of buy it. You can sort of go into it. You can sort of accept what's going on, and that's what like I said. It's my favorite. It's my favorite of all the prequel movies. It's even though it's
Yeah.
cringy as heck. Master Skywalker, what are we going to do? But as a case, without those prequels, how many memes would not exist?
Yeah, no, there's it's actually, to be honest, the internet would be so sad because
Exactly.
Star Wars that movie single-handedly has the best memes of all time, like of all time. Like one movie has the best memes in history.
You know, we
Thank you,
award you,
thank you, Revisions.
we shall give you a seat in the council, but we will not award you the rank of master. What?
All right.
This is unheard of. This is unfair. Who talks like that? Which adult talks about things being unfair like that? Oh my god. Take a
I mean,
seat.
I'm even forgetting. I'm even forgetting. Like, dude, there was like a whole, and I actually really like the scene. You know, the scene where Obi-Wan is riding on the lizard thing,
Yeah.
and then like they're trying to shoot him down, and they gets General Grievous, and they fights Grievous. Dude, there's a lightsaber fight with a dude like 6 arms.
For
It's amazing. And then like, oh, is it 4? Oh, my bad. And then they fight, and like it's the best thing ever. I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually really cool.
and
I
of
just wish
course,
General Grievous and had more relationship. But yeah, whatever.
we've got the one iconic line from Obi-Wan that is remembered for all time. Hello
Oh,
there.
the gun. Oh, yeah. Oh, hey, hello there, dude.
General
That's like that's a
Kenobi.
meme now. That's a
That is the meme.
yeah. That is the meme. Yeah,
That is the meme.
there's also the so uncivilized.
So
That's
uncivilized.
also quite memed a lot.
Yeah, but
Yeah, so
go.
yeah,
So
but hello
kids,
there.
kids, go on Tinder. Go on Tinder, find someone you like, and use those words. Hello there.
Yeah.
I bet you one out of 10 will respond with General Kenobi. It's so iconic. No more. Hi, what's up?
Yeah.
How are you doing? No, it's hello there, General Kenobi. You are a bold one.
Yeah.
it's,
Oh
it's
man.
the line. I
It's
mean,
such a really, it's such a good movie. It's such a movie. Like it's like I think it's beyond. It's you can't even say if it's good or bad. It's just beyond that. Like it's
it's in a
it's just
it's in a
so part of
quantity of
us.
it's in a section of its
Yeah.
own where it's that.
It's it's like air. You can't judge air anymore. You can't say air is good or bad.
But it's
It's just
simply air.
air.
Mm,
It's simply
mm.
air, man.
And I think it's made even more. You can appreciate it even
It's
more
so
compared to the
crazy.
horrendous mess of what happens afterwards. I think that's another thing.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you know the sad thing is I don't think people even make memes about these new ones because it's just
I,
nothing to meme. It's just
I think there are. I just don't know. It's just that they make fun of the different dialogue tropes because there's a part where it's like that sword was Luke Skywalker as it was his father's before his, and it goes to you, and then they show the scene currently wielding the young Slayer 9,000.
yeah. No, but even then that oh, man that those movies are so we will get to that because
Yeah.
like the promise there whatever mate.
Once again, the biggest issue with all these movies is the wasted potential. You see, where in the original
Yeah.
text, the potentials have been met as much as they could. There are places
Mm,
where you leave more questions than answers, like the robots.
mm.
Yeah, in the prequels, you don't really care
And
about
Leia.
and Leia.
And Leia. Yeah.
Here, you don't
No,
really care about the robots that much, even though the robots are so hella active. Honest to God.
yeah, there's so much robots in these prequel movies.
Yeah,
Fuck me, you get the most of robots, but
yeah.
then you also are, but they're also ironically the least memorable in these ones. Like when they're in the other ones, I remember them more, but in these ones, you get so much of them. I
I
don't even
mean,
care.
what's the one or two moment that comes to mind in these prequels?
I, I don't
Don't
really
get me
have
wrong,
one.
he does a lot. He does a lot. So
He
many
does
people,
do a lot.
so many people are
Like
still alive thanks to him. But what
even
is?
in Revenge of the Sith, I remember he does a lot, but like I don't care, and I can't even think of it.
Hmm.
Like you know, the saddest thing is I remember what he does in Last Jedi more than I do this.
But you
Oh
remember
wait, sorry,
him?
that's not even R2. That's not even R2. That's BB-8. Sorry, but even then, still, I remember what he actually. I do remember what he does in Last Jedi. It's when he plays the hologram.
Yeah,
but that's a good callback.
yeah,
Um,
and it's the one thing that the most Star Wars thing was taken away from that prequel, which is putting your faith in the hands of what literally is nothing more than a robot. In A New Hope,
mm,
she left this super important message and the Death Star plans in this
I know, right?
robot,
I know,
eh,
right?
which is something you don't see in this prequel movie. You don't see where our, our hopes lie on this little on this moment. It's all, and it's the biggest issue about all world building arcs, because the prequels is basically trying to tell the whole universe, the whole story about this Star Wars universe that literally came to ruin, and it hasn't recovered since. If you pay attention, if you look at if you look at episodes 3, 4, 5, and 6, you can see the huge gap from episodes 1 to 3 in terms of technology, in terms of scope, in terms of the world lost something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
And
really do.
and yes, that's what they're trying to tell, but then you don't get to see the impact of you are our last hope in this big mess of a situation. It's a big,
Yo, dumb
yeah.
question. Sorry to interrupt you, but who do you think is best dressed in in the prequels?
You got the most drip.
Yeah, who got the best drip, yo?
You're all gonna judge me, but I don't care. I don't
Because
care.
I mean, in the other one, I think we agreed it was Darth Vader in the
Yeah,
originals.
yes.
Yeah, Vader got the best drip. Okay, in this one,
You're gonna judge me harshly, but I don't care.
no,
Pardon
who
me.
got the best drip?
Pardon me.
Padme.
Queen
You
Amidala.
know what? You know what? No, I'm thinking you actually might be right. Because, like,
I
I'm
mean,
like, when
that
she's got
big ass hat,
yeah,
that big ass
she got the
weave
biggest hat and the white
with the
makeup.
weave and everything.
In the first two, she's got the drip. I don't know
She's
where the
got the
drip went
drip.
in the third one, but the drip was fire in the first two.
Aye, she was on a level.
You know what? I might have to give that to you. I was trying to think, but all the Jedi unfortunately dress too similar
Yeah,
for
the
some
it's
reason.
basically the uniform. Yes, we are
Yeah.
space priests.
And then I would say the clones look cool, but I actually think the stormtroopers look way better than them, in my opinion. And then yeah, let's give it to Amidala, man.
It has to
She got the
be.
best drip.
She got the
Best drip in
best
Star
drip.
Wars.
For days, for days. Look at those outfits. I need an outfit for when I'm escaping into a spaceship.
Yeah, no, she's got drip for days, man.
And
She
then
got drip.
I need an outfit when I'm speaking to the Senate. Then I need another outfit for when I'm
Hey,
going back from the Senate.
yo, even thingy, even what's an annoying face in the first movie? Yo, no. Sorry, I was gonna say Darth Maul, but not really. I like the cloak, but
Yeah,
after that he loses it. Uh,
but at the same time,
uh,
but can we appreciate how George Lucas and John Williams got to feel the power of the dark side in one character who has one of the least amount of airtime in the whole thing?
yeah, which is, I mean, at least the series corrected that. I mean, I think after everyone was like, "Dude, how could you give us Darth Maul and then take it away?"
You
And
know,
they, fought to bring it back. I'm happy they did.
they did, yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy they did because it really is like because Darth Maul for me is he's more interesting than the others. Like
Mm.
would you rather see more General Grievous or Darth Maul? Honestly, come on. Would you
Mm.
rather like even Count Dooku? I like Count Dooku, but I still prefer Darth Maul.
No, no.
But,
You see, Dooku is the example of wasted potential. His story arc is so
yeah,
compelling in Legends, you have no idea. I mean, you can actually feel there's a part of him that still kind of still respects Master Yoda, but at the same time, you slowly see that respect for his old master burn away, because to
mm,
him, in his eyes, everything that's wrong in the galaxy is Yoda's fault.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because you
From my
can't.
perspective, the Jedi are evil.
You see now that now that's the biggest departure from Anakin and Count Dooku. Count Dooku blames one Jedi, where
Yeah.
where
Anakin blames the system. Yeah.
blames the whole system, and it's like, okay, child, pick something to hate.
Wait, so here's the deep contested line.
Yeah.
What does Obi-Wan mean when he says only a Sith deals in absolutes? Can
Didn't
you do you care to explain?
didn't I
Explain to
elaborate
the
this?
children.
Didn't I elaborate this a long time ago? It's
No, please explain. Please explain
the
to the children.
the key word here is deals in absolutes. It's
Oh
not.
wait, no, you did. Please
Yeah,
explain this.
it's not the absolute statement. It's not the absolute that's the key word here. It deals with absolute, which means that to a Jedi, there's always an option apart from violence. The Sith do not. The Sith are like Queen Cersei. They will choose violence no matter what the situation is. Where the Jedi are always willing to sit down and try and see things from your perspective, and that's what's missing in this context. When Anakin said, "It's either you're with me or you're against me," that's when he realized that there is no room for negotiation because if any
Mm.
if Anakin was saying, okay, guys, sit, let's sit, okay, explain this to me. What on earth am I not seeing that you are seeing? And then Obi-Wan would also say, okay, I want to see what you're seeing too, but guys, you do know you just killed children, you know? You
Mm.
meet me halfway. You can tell me you see what's wrong about killing kids. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
that's the biggest gripe is not that the line is an absolute statement. It isn't. It's the fact that one is willing to negotiate while the other one isn't. Hey, the negotiator, General Kenobi.
General Kenobi. Oh man, I'm trying to think. Is there someone we haven't covered yet?
There's a
The
lot of
revenge.
no, there's a lot of people who have recovered it. Chaps.
Mm.
The amount of character lists in that movie goes it's borderline
Yeah.
reaching the Iliad in the number of unnecessary characters. But I mean, there's Kid Fisto
Mm, that's true.
who was literally impaled by Palpatine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't actually talk about Mace Windu a lot, but yeah, wasted potential, just in general.
Mace Windu is wasted
Just wasted.
potential. He could have been he could have embodied that character arc that says, you know what, the unyieldingness of the Jedi, the stubborn nature of the Jedi could have been reflected by his character. I mean, I love the fact that he's the only one wielding the purple lightsaber, and according to law, it means that in essence, he's willing to use the darkness for the purposes of the light, which
Yeah,
which to
yeah,
me
yeah, yeah, yeah.
which to me shows that he was the closest thing to a great Jedi that you'll ever find,
Mm.
you'll ever find canonically speaking. Uh, Too bad. The truth is that just Samuel L. Jackson just wanted
No,
the
it's
purple lightsaber, but anyway.
no, no. It's Ray. Obviously, it's Ray. Ray is the great Jedi,
we
the
do not talk.
great Jedi that we all deserve. It's
We
Ray.
do not speak that
Okay,
name
with
here.
a yellow lightsaber.
Fuck that.
Oh
She took
my
my.
god.
You know what? You know what's the funny thing? With when I, because of course in my height of my own, in my own Jedi tests and everything, I fall under Grey Jedi. I wield a yellow lightsaber. In fact, it's one of the things I put in
Oh
my.
shit.
Yeah, it's the reason. I think I'll put the picture up. It's
Why?
one of
Yeah.
it's the reason I drew my own self-insert character like that in my
Mm.
own fan fiction, because that's what I am. And my character is literally the last. And that time, the yellow lightsaber was given to the Sentinels, meant to go hunt down, counter espionage, and hunt down all dark side users. That's their job.
Mm.
And then here comes Disney, came in like a mighty,
Ray.
he came in like a Miley Cyrus wrecking ball and
Yep.
destroyed the whole
I came
notion.
in
Well, that happened.
like.
So
Yeah.
let's see,
Yeah.
Mace Windu. That, but And that's the other thing. That's what I like. And that's the other thing I liked about one of the major things I like about the prequels is that there's a black Jedi.
Yo, yeah. I
What
mean,
who
and
kicked
it's
ass?
not even like we kicked ass, and no one, they didn't make it a thing.
Hmm.
I mean, in the like he kicked more ass than, and it's so sad because like we'll talk about that soon, but like the wasted potential of Finn. Oh my fucking
Oh
gosh.
gosh.
Oh my
Ooh.
fucking gosh, dude. Oh
What?
my fucking gosh.
Ooh.
Oh my fucking gosh. Like that's all I can say. Like the wasted potential is like for me, that's like it's worse than anything
It's
I've ever
is
seen in the other ones. The
is
wasted
the
potential of Finn.
is the biggest betrayal of the whole lot. It's the biggest betrayal of the whole lot, if you think about it. Finn was Finn was supposed to be a Jedi. You will never argue against it. You'll never tell me otherwise. You'll never argue. You'll never give me evidence. I'll be as stubborn as Sheldon Cooper. You know, Sheldon Cooper cannot be negotiated with.
Yeah.
That's why I am like in my
I actually
mind,
think
Finn is a
mm,
Jedi.
I think Finn was probably the most interesting character in that whole sequel trilogy. And like he could have even been the protagonist. And then the second most interesting character for me is still Kylo Ren. But
Yeah,
like man, it's just, and I'm not trying to say that because obviously I'm black. It's nice to see a black character, but it's not that. It was just the whole stormtrooper aspect. Like
yeah,
that was just so unique and original.
yeah.
And then it was just fell on
Look,
its face.
I'll go into detail about how they could have made the story a little
Yeah.
more compelling. I was
Mm,
hoping that, the reason why Captain Phasma is so intimidating to Finn is because it's sort of like the abusive mother of the relationship. And him, because
mm,
he'd be like the one who actually kidnapped him as a kid or something like that. And he grew up
mm,
fearing the crap out of this woman, and then he grows up, and in his desire to overcome his fear of Phasma, he also learns that, oh, he's got this power that's inside him called the Force, and his
mm,
hatred and fear of Phasma is the thing that he needs to overcome in order to become a proper Jedi that can face up to this huge monster that is known as Kylo Ren. By the time he
right?
faces Kylo Ren, he's overcome his fear and darkness that he can meet the light, that he can be the onslaught of this tortured soul that is Kylo Ren. I saw all this thing and I was like, fine, let there be two Jedi. Why can there not be two Jedi in this story? Why is it only supposed to be one? Okay, next
Mm,
week. Next week, let's keep it in. Let's keep it in.
yeah,
Let's keep it
let's
in.
keep it in.
Yeah. Anyway, about the sequels, go watch Revenge of the Sith. That's my
Yeah,
ultimate
go watch it.
statement. If I were to rank them, if I were to rank, I don't know if I ranked the
Oh,
prequels. I don't
jeez.
remember if I don't remember if I ranked the prequels or not. If I rank the originals, I ranked Return of the Jedi is my favorite.
Mm,
The Empire Strikes Back is my second, and my least
mm.
favorite. Not for the sake that it's
A
bad.
New
It's just
Hope,
that
yeah.
A New Hope is the least favorite because it's well,
It
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 somebody ha-
ages, yeah.
somebody has to be third. These
Mm,
ones, it has to be not without a doubt. Revenge of the Sith is by far my most favorite.
yeah,
You get to see Palpatine
by
doing what
far,
Palpatine does. He goes
by
crazy.
far.
Yeah, and it's a huge gap. And then Phantom Menace is the second, and forget about
Yeah, forget about
who?
the middle
What?
child.
Well, that one is the middle
Mm.
child that meant to be forgotten.
Yo, it's just a horrible, horrible, horrible movie.
That's,
Must be
well,
forgotten.
that's so sad. Aren't you technically the middle child?
Yes, I am, but I'm
So,
not. But the thing is, there are other good middle children. I mean, Dark Knight is a middle child. Twin Towers is a middle child.
Empire
Book
Strikes
Two is a
Back is
middle
the middle
child.
child.
Empire Strikes Back is a middle child. There's great middle children. In fact, some of them are the best. But that one's just a piece of shit.
The other one is the child we
That-
don't talk about.
yeah, there's great middle children, but that one, I mean, Godfather Part Two is the best middle child ever. But like that one, but That one, actually, maybe Dark Knight.
You
Dark
know
Knight is a
what?
great middle
You
child.
know what? You know what? Let me just go ahead and say this because this the irony is that as much as I've watched, rather I can quote as much of the middle of Godfather as possible. I've never actually watched the whole movie, all the movies from beginning to end.
Mm,
So yeah, that's an opportunity. I should come over and then you should I should watch the Godfather with you guys because
yeah.
I don't like watching it with people who are as overly stands. I don't like watching movies where people are stand for days
Mm,
because
yeah.
I need to have the space to be objective. That's why I enjoyed
Definitely.
what that's why I enjoyed watching the Snyder Cut with who I watched it with. Because then we could be objective for a moment and be like, oh wait, this is crazy. This is
Mm,
crazy. When somebody's standing for days, it's like, and I'm thinking,
oh,
Because
no, I get what you
then I'm just nothing but a big teaspoon of vinegar and that curdles the milk. So
mean. No, no, you need to be objective, man.
so yeah,
But
yeah. So when
but
at our earliest convenience, we're gonna watch
mm,
this. We're gonna marathon this Godfather movie. I'll bring popcorn.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Please do, and then we'll watch all three actually,
Oh my God, it's been
and
an
you can
hour and a
also
half.
oh another good middle child, Spider-Man 2. Don't
Oh no,
forget.
he's the
But anyway,
best. He is the okay,
yeah.
wait, because I haven't watched Godfather 2, I have to say, for me,
Mm,
Spider-Man 2, and I'm talking about Tobey Maguire, we do not talk about the other
yes.
Spider-Man
Oh
2.
yeah, yeah. We don't talk about Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield. No, no.
Those movies never happened in my mind. But Spider-Man 2 is the movie, is the middle child. I have never, of all the Spider-Man movies, I've never enjoyed the fighting, I've never enjoyed the dialogue, I've never felt, you know, I felt like, wow, I can actually fall in love now. It's safe, even with thanks to that
Mm,
movie. Because you never
that
thought
movie
of
is
it,
great.
you never thought of it from the perspective of the damsel saying, can't I choose to love you? I know your responsibility is to
Mm,
keep me safe, but then let me choose whether I want to be safe or want to be with you as well. It's one of those things that
mm.
like, wow, I never thought of it like that. Which brought me to like, Lois, what are you doing?
Yeah, plus I really like the optimism of that. I mean, I wish someone would make something like that vein in this world that we live in. I mean, I mean, I don't get me wrong, I do like dark, gritty movies, but it would be nice just to taste like just to change palettes here. You know what I mean? Especially after the Zack Snyder verse, after that 4 hour
Oh God, we need something.
depression. It's
God,
like,
we need something.
and
I
even
swear.
like even yeah, even like, and also I wouldn't count Marvel movies because I don't count them as optimistic or anything. They're just very formulaic and fluffy, but
Yeah,
can get to that at some point.
yeah.
It's like the same movie repackaged. And oh, don't even get me started on Wonder Vision. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I hate Wonder. I actually realized I hate Wonder Vision now. I hate Wonder Vision. At first, I was like, yeah, it's okay. It's just bad at the beginning. Then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? It's actually a piece of shit. I actually hate WandaVision. But I mean, yeah, sorry, but about Star Wars, I mean, for me, honestly, I agree with your ranking. I
Yeah.
also, but just slight changes. I'd go with Empire first, then Return of the Jedi,
Hmm.
then Star Wars. I mean, then sorry, A New
In
Hope.
your hope.
Then yeah, then I'd have to go with Revenge, obviously, Phantom Menace, and I'm not even gonna say the other one because it's just, it just is. I don't
Sibodu,
even know.
Sibodu Sancha.
Yeah, I don't even know why it exists. I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. Like, I don't even know why George made that. It's just there.
Even to this day, do you know how bad there's this scene that's so bad that I physically shudder whenever I get to it in that movie, and it's the
Mm.
where Padme confesses her love for
Ugh,
Anakin. I
Anakin.
I
Ugh,
can't stand that
ugh.
scene. It makes
Is this when they're in the Coliseum?
oh God, it's
Ugh,
so bad.
ugh,
It's
ugh,
so
it's so
bad.
bad. So bad. Ugh.
Oh God,
Even Obi-Wan even looks like shit. Like his beard looks like shit.
he doesn't have. Does he have a
Like, and
beard?
his hair looks like shit.
Yeah,
No,
he
I think
looked
no, he doesn't. So he has weird hair. He has like weird rock star hair. I was
he
like,
looked
what
like I
the
was going through a
fuck are you guys?
phase.
Yes, I was like, what are you guys doing to Obi-Wan? I
He's going
was
through a
like,
phase.
no, you. Uh, yeah, just a bad movie, man. Just a bad movie.
Yeah, but
It's not
like I
even
said,
fun. Mm,
literally that movie. Yeah, I just watched the last battle. That's it. That ending battle. That's it.
mm.
That's
But yeah,
it.
that's Star Wars, man. But like,
That's Star Wars.
Yeah,
And
I guess
that's
next week we will. Yeah, that's the end of the Lucas era.
yeah. That's and by that I mean that's the best. That's the end of the all that is good about Star Wars when it comes to the movies. Because don't get me wrong, and I think people might catch flack. I might catch flack for this, but the series that I'm making, I'm thoroughly impressed. I mean, Mandalorian is still one of my favorite things. I'll keep saying it. It's what saved
Yeah.
it's what saved the genre for me.
Mm,
It's that one and
mm.
of what's coming next, and I know it's Disney era but there is a movie in the Disney era that must be talked about, and that's Rogue One. Rogue One
Yeah. Rogue One. Yeah,
Rogue One is
definitely.
simply the best movie they ever made.
By far,
Period.
by far.
You can come at me, kids. You can tell me which other Star Wars movie tops Rogue One in the prequels. I do not. If you were to tell me with any legitimate level of intellect that there's a movie that's better than Rogue One in terms of this new Disney nonsense, then I shall be able to
No,
successfully point an idiot.
no, it's just that, and obviously when you say that, it's not perfect
It's
either,
not perfect.
but it's
Cringe
not perfect.
fest.
But yes, definitely cringe fest.
Mm,
But out of all of them, I mean, look, I used to be the Force Awakens kid. I mean, I watched it like so many. Actually, but I'll explain my Force Awakens story.
yeah,
But yeah, Rogue One, man, Rogue
Rogue
One.
One. It's the one, and it's oh, you see the that's what I'm saying. We can argue until the cows come home, even with its choppy dialogue and its and everything that's wrong with that movie. You get to
Mm.
see a glimmer of its. You know, there's that award that everybody get used to get back in primary school, most improved.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Rogue One is most improved. It's not the best.
You know what's so funny is
Yeah,
after that they made a solo story, so it kind of canceled itself out.
yeah.
They were
Then
like, man, they were like,
then
I know, solo.
then they relapsed hard
Hard, hard. I don't even know
because
why that movie exists. Jeez.
Solo Solo took away the one thing about Star Wars that everybody likes watching on the big screen. It's a war in the stars. Where is the
But
war
even
in the stars?
also, we're not ready to see someone else other than Harrison Ford be him. So like, we're just not ready as a people. Like, it's okay. Like,
No, 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 no,
It's like T'Challa. Like, I don't think people like,
no,
as
no.
much people are like, no, Black Panther must continue. I don't think
No.
people are ready to see T'Challa
Uh,
other than Chadwick Boseman. Like, it's okay.
I can argue against that. I can say people can we can disassociate Han Solo from this. There's an proven
Han
before.
Solo from Harrison Ford. Are
Yeah.
you crazy? Are you crazy? Okay, fine. It's like, dude, it's like imagine it. Like for
Look,
me, he is Han Solo, he is Indiana Jones. I cannot see anybody else
well,
do those things.
what I'm trying to say is we managed to successfully disassociate Luke when okay, I think I know why. I think I know why. I think I know why.
No, what do you mean disassociate Luke? I can't disassociate Luke. Luke is always Mark Hamill. Who else is Luke? Who else is Luke?
The Mandalorian, that last scene where he was walking down those aisles, was that
Yeah,
Luke?
but that was no, not really. But it is him though. It wasn't another actor. It was still him. It was still him.
Yeah, technically, you're right.
It's still
Technically, you're
him.
right.
Imagine if
Technically,
they a lot of people are saying we should get like
Sebastian
what's his
Stan.
dude Winter Soldier, and I mean I could see that.
I
I
could
could
see
see
that,
that.
and I could that could actually work. But
Yeah,
the big issue that I'd say is that we saw the reason why we could disassociate Luke was because we saw the Last Jedi. There
yeah.
was
Everyone was like, okay, yeah, we're done with you now.
We couldn't.
We're done with you.
We never got something like that with Solo. If we had gotten a last
Yeah.
Solo, last Jedi like
No,
Solo
dude.
movement,
No,
we could have easily said, okay, Flash.
no, there's just certain people who, unfortunately, for better or for worse, will always be associated with the characters that they played. Unfortunately, Mark Hamill will always be Luke Skywalker. I can't see another person. I mean, I know the Sebastian Stan thing. It's like I'm playing with the idea, but if they
Yeah.
actually did it, I wouldn't like it.
Yeah.
There's just certain people. He's just in that group. There's just certain people. Like it's like Ian McKellen is Gandalf. I can't see anybody else as Gandalf.
True, true, true. And then
Daniel Radcliffe is Harry Potter. Nobody else can be Harry Potter until the day I die. He's Harry Potter. Hugh Jackman is Wolverine. It's just the way it is. It's just imagine if they recast Wolverine, dude. Fuck me. No, I'm sorry. No. Are you crazy?
and you know
Don't do that.
you're actually approving my hypocrisy. Do you know how pissed off I was when they replaced Magneto?
Yeah, you see.
To
Okay,
this
but with that one they did a young Magneto though.
I
So
don't
like
know,
they
no,
did.
no, 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 no. They did not do him right. What the hell is that?
We are the
No,
future Charles, not them.
you know the dialogue. I was
Yeah.
with I was waiting for the you see two Shakespearean era actors meet and you can just see the class of all these years of honing their craft come out in such subtle dialogues when he goes like, don't give up on them, Eric. What would you have me do, Charles? I've had these arguments before. You
Mm,
know he's talking about the Holocaust. You know he's talking about the
yeah.
things he survived back then. In this new Magneto, I don't see a Holocaust survivor. I just see an
Nah.
angry
Yeah.
mess.
Humanity can evolve. Yes,
It's
Charles.
just
Into
into
us.
us. And then to make it worse,
How fire is that?
he knows when Charles is going into his mind. It's like you sneaking around in here, Charles. Whatever are
Mm.
you looking for? I'm looking for hope. I will bring you hope, old friend.
Oh, bring you.
I just ask
Man.
one thing in return. Don't get in my way. Walks away.
See,
What?
that's great dialogue. Where was that, George? Imagine if you watch Star Wars with that level of like back and forth. Jesus. Very
Imagine,
great.
imagine that level of dialogue between Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon,
Mm. Yeah.
where Obi-Wan would genuinely be questioning, why do you want this boy?
Mm. Or
And
just that
Qui-Gon,
level of dialogue between anyone. But yeah,
oh,
man.
and then Qui-Gon, you can see his maverickness would be sowing the seeds of rebellion in Anakin.
Mm. Mm. You see, that
Yeah.
would have been a great dynamic. So I think we
Yes.
should have kept Qui-Gon around for a bit longer and seen like, and then you could have even had where we questioned, is Qui-Gon the one that turned Anakin?
Yeah.
Was, you know what I mean? So
That,
you can
that
kind of have, yeah.
because and you see, but you can also see that it was a grudge purchase. Obi-Wan never really wanted to train Anakin. He trained Anakin
Mm.
because it was the dying wish of his master. And you don't see the level of relationship in this dying man that Obi-Wan would be able to say, you know what, let me do this for my master. You don't see you don't feel it. You don't feel it. And if you were to take X-Men level dialogue and put it in that movie, God,
Yeah,
God,
jeez. Would have night and day, eh?
yo,
Night and freaking day. See,
he
this is what I'm saying, man. Wasted potential.
wasted potential. I don't know, I think it's caused by massive egos that are not willing to listen to each other. That's my biggest gripe. But that's my problem with Hollywood in total. You've got a lot of money. You believe you've earned this money because you've worked hard for it, but now you're not listening to somebody else's perspective because of the money you have. And now you're beginning to waste it.
Yeah. Oh well.
So movies with massive potential are thrown under the bus because of your stubbornness.
Mm.
I mean, I could write when listen. I don't claim to be a writer, even though I do. You know the things that I do and stuff like that. I can write good storylines and stuff like that for myself. But if I can think of a better story than somebody who's been given six, seven, eight, nine, $10 million, not let alone let's forget the $70 million that these big budget people can get.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot claim in good consciousness that to be at the level of someone like Zack Snyder. Zack Snyder deserves that 70 million, no matter how much we can question his
Mm-hmm.
reasoning. But if you talk about lighter movies, talk about, for an example, Clash of the Titans. That remake should have been a classic because it was embodying all the Greek mythology. And I was thinking, wow, what a nice introduction to Greek mythology. I know the Greek mythologies. I could go through it with
Mm-hmm.
Theon. I could go through it with Theogony up until the Iliad. I know everything. And I know how awesome the original story is. If once
Mm-hmm.
again, if you just copy and paste with today's technology, you make an epic.
Yeah, that's true. That is actually very true. Just keep the meat, yeah.
Yeah, just
But unfortunately, the people, everyone wants to trim the meat
yeah.
and just get to the fat. And I'm
No,
like,
no, just I mean,
it's
take
weird.
imagine if they made for let's for an example for in I'm bringing it to home. Imagine if they made a series about the Anglo-Boer War with
Mm,
today's sci-fi everything. I kid you not,
I
it took
know.
10 pages.
It would. It really would.
Wahoo,
But
shit.
like, I don't know. The machine is a weird machine. It
No,
doesn't know what it doesn't know. The thing is, it pretends to know what it is or it's
yeah.
good at, but it honestly doesn't know. I
And
mean,
you know,
especially now, we live in a world where it's so out of flux. Like no one knows what people want. Like would we have gotten a Snyder cut a few years ago? No. We're only getting it now because it's going to HBO Max. Black Widow is going to Disney Plus. I never thought that would happen. I thought it was going to go to the cinema, but now we're
mhm,
actually finally getting a Marvel movie straight to our house.
you know,
Crazy. You know what I mean? This movie could have been $1 billion movie, but now it's going straight to people's homes.
could it though?
Um,
Could it though?
yeah, I
Black
mean,
Widow.
yeah,
Nah,
I mean, if Captain Marvel made $1 billion, this could make $1 billion. And
Captain
Captain
Marvel
Marvel
was
was a boring schlock, man. But like, what?
but Captain Marvel was a question mark of the movie because we never really we got the comic sources as opposed to the character
Mm.
sources in the movie. Black Widow at this point has been run out, struck out, left to dry, re-moisturized, re-affiliated, rehydrated, and then left to dry out again.
Yeah, but she's still a beloved Avenger, is she not?
Is she? What
She's part of the originals.
what's her powers? What can
She
she
has the
do?
power of she has the power of seduction, power of determination. She has the power of it's Natasha, man. I don't know. I like Natasha.
Exactly.
Um,
My point exactly. The only power she has is that she can kick Hawkeye's ass. That's it.
Oh yeah, that's true. No, man. Listen, I think look, Natasha. Look, I'm not gonna let you insult Natasha. I think Natasha is a great addition to the Avengers team. Even though I'm not gonna lie,
No,
guys, I'm not a big Avengers fan. Like, I never grew up as the kid that gave a fuck about Avengers.
make no
The
mistake.
movies are okay.
Make no mistake. I recognize in the Avengers, Natasha embodies the heart of the Avengers. Especially in Endgame, she especially in Endgame, she embodies the heart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Embodies the heart. She's the one who grieves. She's the one who carries the emotional impact of the mess the world is
That's
in.
true. That's
In
true. Yeah,
Endgame.
that's
Now
true. She does play the mother of the group. Yeah.
now take that all away and I put her in a movie. Like she was also sort of like the moral, the heart of Captain America too.
Look, I'm not saying the movie's good. I'm just saying it might have made money. I like if we're
Nah,
talking about whether or not the movie's good, that's a completely different conversation. And I'll tell you right
oof.
now, the movie's probably gonna be boring as boring. It's unnecessary. It's a prequel. The main character already dies at the end of another movie. So why is this even being made? The action
Now,
sequences are not going to be as good as Endgame. We've already seen this, and even
yeah,
then, another spy assassin movie. Like,
this
how
is
many times does this movie get made? We just got Anna. We just got what's the one with Jennifer Lawrence? We keep getting these movies every year
yeah.
or every 2 years, and honestly, I
So
don't care. But
this is like I said, they're still suffering from the post coattail glow of Endgame, and it's not going to. It's not. It was never going to make a
yeah, and
billion dollars. It was never.
after
I
After One Division, I don't trust these people for shit. I think after the last Spider-Man movie, I was like, I don't know what this is. And
so
then
that's
after One Division, I was like, it's over.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's like I said, my issue is that part of the whole. Uh, And the thing that made Miss Marvel make rake in the billion is because everybody was still suffering from the post-traumatic stress of
Yeah.
Infinity Wars. We wanted to know,
Mm.
will she be able to help? What does this mean? What happened? Oh my God, the thing is pinging. Tell me what's going
But
on.
that's
Now
the
it's
thing I don't get. Why the hell didn't they just make this Black Widow movie and slot it between Infinity War and Endgame?
same
It
here.
would have been the perfect, like,
It would have
like
been
it would have been perfect.
because then we'd have to see this woman take on the mess that has become of the world. Captain America is busy having his depression. How Thor
Yeah,
was busy being an idiot. You know what I mean?
it would have been perfect, but like it's and then even then, you know how much we would have felt more for Natasha
When
if
she
she had
sacrificed
died in
herself. Yeah,
Endgame
yeah.
after her movie, but I'm just a guy on the internet. What do
Yeah,
I know?
like I said, I can't claim that level, but at the same time, if my imagination can come up with a better story than what you guys are busy spending millions on, then
Mm.
forgive me for my disappointment. You can't I you can't be
Oh, you know
outdone
what?
by my imagination. I'm too
What
simplistic.
what if we're dumb? What if this is like an alternate version of Natasha? What if this is like a different universe? And so this movie takes place while they're stealing the Infinity Stones, and then somehow it interacts, and then we get a view into another universe or what it looks like,
The,
without Thanos now. Like, what if this is our first multiverse kind of movie? If it's that, I'm game. But if it's not, this sucks. But
you're literally quoting the plot, the whole plot of Loki.
oh yeah, Loki. Is it weird that I don't care about Loki? I saw the trailer come out the other day, and
Yeah,
I
there was a new
don't
trailer that
care.
came out, and I haven't watched it.
Hmm,
I don't feel
I
that
don't know.
excitement, which I'm betraying my Marvel fans. But like I said, if I'm not allowed to be objective about whatever I'm watching, then leave me alone. I won't be the superstar that you guys are hoping that I am. And Loki doesn't tickle my fancy. It doesn't
Yeah. Also,
because
like, where are the X-Men and Fantastic Four? Didn't they buy these properties like years ago? Like shit. Like, let's make that happen.
rather than
Like, I'm already so over.
who's going to be the new Magneto? For the love of God, please fix Apocalypse.
Yeah, you see, like X-Men has so much potential.
X-Men is the
Like
potential. Guys,
another verse.
guys don't understand just
Yeah.
how much of an impact X-Men had on Marvel as a whole. Because
Yeah.
you
And even
think
then, like we live.
yeah, you think if you're to judge according to the movies, that things like the Avengers were the biggest comic sellers as opposed to the
Mhm.
X-Men. And the truth is, X-Men
Yeah, it
was
was.
was carrying Marvel for decades. It was X-Men, it was
Mhm.
Fantastic Four, it was
Spider-Man. Mhm.
Spider-Man. Those three were the big carriers. Iron Man and Thor and the Incredible Hulk. The Incredible Hulk sort of was a major and minor character, but he became
Mhm.
major because he helped introduce Wolverine, and that's one of the and because of Wolverine's association is with the guy that and Wolverine became the poster boy for all
He's
the
the
X-Men
guy.
for ages
Mm,
afterwards. It's those are the things that people who don't really know that much about comics would come to identify as, oh wait, the Avengers have always been these heavy hitters, and then the X-Men were
no,
meh. But
no, no.
we who
I,
grew
I,
up,
I've never been a fan of the Avengers, to be honest. Like even now, like I think they have cool movies. Actually, they have two cool movies. I'm not like as time goes by, the first one I'm not a huge fan of. Age of Ultron is a bit of a mess. I like Infinity War and I like Endgame. Also like Captain America because Captain America is basically an Avengers movie. As much as it says it's not, but it basically is.
it is, yeah.
But I like those. I like those movies. And then but in terms of like characters I grew up with and what meant anything to me, it was always like DC characters like Batman, Superman, the Flash,
Spider-Man is
Green
from
Lantern.
Marvel.
Yeah, okay, Spider-Man, yes, but he was just it was probably like the only one and the X-Men.
Yep.
But characters that mean a lot to me, like dude, I love like I would throw away the entire Avengers for a really good Superman or a really good Batman or a really good like I could just I would literally throw them all away because like they mean something to me. Like Avengers is just yeah.
like I mentioned, you see, this if they made a decent, if they make a, if they were to remake the X-Men movies, I'd most probably go watch it. I won't
Mm,
lie,
I,
because
yeah.
for me, my love for Marvel comes from the Fantastic Four and the X-Men. And when I talk about the Fantastic Four, I'm not talking about the movies. Those movies are crap. I don't care what you say about Chris
Mm,
Evans and everybody in the first, the first ones. Yeah, they don't age well at all. They don't move
they
me at
really don't.
all. But come to the comics, come to the animated series. God, I do, oh boy, do I love the Fantastic Four. You see people who are explorers, who are trying to figure out problems, trying to work, make the world a better place. You see them deal with a mad scientist named Doctor Doom, and it's one of
Mm,
the things I. That's one of the things that I love the most about Marvel. Marvel is about exploration and a
mm,
new world and wonder. And of course, then comes to the X Men. I've explained my love for the X Men already, why I love the X Men so much. And I could see myself in the X Men more than I could see myself as a sidekick for Batman, or
mm,
or see myself as
mm,
Superman. As much as I could relate to Superman's struggles, I could not see myself as Superman because
mm.
for me, Superman is literally God.
Yeah.
Or Jesus, or I don't
Mm,
insert
whatever.
whatever you want to insert there. And so because of that, because of how perfect he is, I can't see myself in him because he'll always do what is right. He'll always make the sacrifice. He will always dump the girl. He will always
Mm,
he'll always
no, I
do
get you.
he'll always do the thing. As for the X-Men, you can see, I mean, Storm hates humans. Don't get me wrong.
Mm,
He had to be taught how to love the human race, to see the good in them by Professor Xavier. She grew up fearing and hating them, and then of course,
mm,
in her country, she was worshipped as a goddess because she could make it rain whenever she decided it's time to rain, and all that stuff. But when
mm,
she saw the way they were mistreating mutants all over the world, her first decision, her first go-to was to hate these other people because that's where we come from. That's and that's why I relate so much to X-Men. The default is to say I hate you guys because you're hurting me. You know what I mean? You're hurting
mm,
people
mm,
like me. And for this group of people to say, even though these guys are misguided, we are going to try and educate them, at the same time protect you from them, and at the same time protect them from you, which is the
mm,
biggest morality lesson that I can learn from that I've learned from from X-Men and from Professor Xavier, and of course from Eric.
mm.
Even though Eric is my favorite character, yeah, sure.
Yeah, no. Well, that's the
Magneto
thing
can
though.
marry
I
me;
don't
it's
know.
fine.
Like that's the thing that kills me about you is like you love Eric, even though technically Professor X would embody, the values that maybe want to be, but you still rather like Eric more. It's kind of like it's like those people who like love Dragon Ball Z, but their
Yeah.
favorite character is Dragon. Like it's Vegeta. I'm like, but I thought Goku was the good guy.
Oh
And it was like,
no.
man, I don't want us to be Goku.
No, no, no,
Like,
no, 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 no. I have to stop you right there. I have to stop you right there, right now. You
yeah.
cannot compare Vegeta and Eric. No,
No, okay, wait. Okay, wait. Actually, think about it.
no.
Okay, I know this could actually be a really cool deep dive into this, but let's think about it. Okay, so they're both survivors of
Mhm.
an atrocity on their race,
Mhm.
right? They're both they're both basically in a philosophical debate. Someone who's similar to them, who's more of an optimist,
Really?
right?
Kakarot's an idiot.
Yeah, yeah, but he's still an optimist. He still wants. He's remember he's the original Tokyo Jitsu. He
Okay,
is the original
okay,
one, bro.
okay, okay.
Naruto's like is in awe of Goku's Tokyo Jitsu. So I don't know. I'm just okay. Look, obviously, there's a lot of superficial similarities with they're basically they were the villain turned kind of
Yes.
anti-hero, but like
But that's my departure point.
yeah, that's it, right?
Magneto has always been a villain, and even though his motives
No,
are
not always. Sometimes he's in the anti-hero. He's in the anti-hero position.
only when the motives align with only when the hero's
Yeah,
motives align with his, he won't change his
yeah.
motives to align with the heroes.
Definitely, no.
Yeah,
You're
that's
right there.
you make no mistake that do not
Mm.
do not for a second think that he's gonna suddenly turn around and say, "Oh, you know what? Just because Professor Xavier wants me to save these humans, I'm gonna save these humans." Never.
Mm.
He will watch them die.
No,
If he
definitely.
if he had the option, he would do that. In fact, if he could press the launch codes himself, he would press the launch codes himself. That
No, I think, and I think the sad thing is with when it comes to the MCU,
yeah.
I think for me the only potential they have is X-Men. And Fantastic Four because Spider-Man could have been something, but they wasted it and they took it into a direction that I despise right now.
Tom
And
Holland.
like maybe no, I just don't like this high school this high school movie slash Tony Stark in high school movie, but it's also Spider Man. And like I hate that angle. I
Hmm.
just hate it. Like, I hate it so
Eh,
much. But
dude,
it is
we've gone off topic and
yeah, true.
we've gone off topic and we've gone over time like exponentially.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's just
So
say thank you
let's
very much.
close. Thanks very much, buddy. We're gonna talk about
Thank you.
the new stuff of Star Wars. I'm not
The
gonna
dis
say what
the
the Disney
Disneyfication.
stuff.
You know
Yeah.
what's so funny? I
Hmm.
just want to, I'll say it again next week, but like, I just want to leave it as the final quote. So remember when George Lucas said he sold his baby to slavers? I sold it to the white slavers.
True that.
And this is what they did.
True that.
Anyways, cool.
True
Thanks,
that.
dude.
Anyway, see you guys next week. Thank you for not gathering with us, and we'll talk about the Disneyfication of Star Wars next time. Take care.